Buzz Live. Buzz, 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 buzz. It's Blake's Buzz Live. Buzz, 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 buzz. It's Blake's Buzz Live. More, hate less, read comics. It's Blake's Buzz Live.
Buzz, buzz, babies.
Buzz, buzz, babies. It's Blake's Buzz, episode 20. Episode 20. I can't believe I've done this 20 times. That's insane. What am I doing with my life? Jesus Christ. Anyways, everybody, welcome. Episode 20, Blake's Buzz Live. We are here tonight. We've got some amazing writers that we're going to talk to tonight. Some of them have been on the show before. Some of them are new. And everybody's got astounding comics that deserve your money and your time and your attention. And just like they need you. We're on crowdfunding. That's the deal, right? We need you guys to give these people money. That's what we're here for. Johnny Fitz, thank you for recognizing the mustache. That was a special deal tonight. Late last night I decided to bring the mustache back, and I shaved. I shaved and read comics and got ready for tonight.
You're fresh off your Super Troopers casting call.
Yeah, like the things I do. It was either be a cop or be a live streaming nerd. And I was like, I can't be a fucking cop. They're terrible. Anyway, then regardless of that, but everybody, like, I'm so excited for our guests here tonight. Holy shit. Really? Dano's in the house. Holy shit. He must still be recovering from COVID if he's playing online this late. He still doesn't have any energy. I hope you're feeling better, bud, for real. But anyways, we're going to go around the room and introduce everybody. I think everybody who watches my show knows this part takes about 20, 25, way too long minutes. This is the part where it takes me a really long time to like make sure everybody knows how awesome everybody is. Let's start. The person who's right next to me is Garth. Garth Mathams, and Garth writes terrifying comics. Everybody, they bother me, but they bother me in a good way. Like they make me feel alive. Like when I wake up from the nightmare and you catch your breath and you're like, I'm not dead. I'm not skinned alive. No one stabbed me. Oh, thank God. It's like 4:00 in the morning. You're like, yes, like tomorrow's gonna be a day. That's the kind of comics Garth writes. He's known for Witch Creek Road, which is a Webtoons comic, which you should all check out. You can check it out for free, and start watching it that way. And if you dig it, you can check out his new Kickstarter, which we're here to talk about tonight, which is Skinned, issue 2 and 3. Garth, I know you love doing these shows and these interviews so much. How you doing? How are you containing your excitement? Are you feeling good? How you doing, bud?
Doing good. Yeah. I wasn't prepared to talk so quickly.
Yeah, it's cool, baby. Just say hi. Just say hi.
Thanks for having me.
No, I'm so excited. I've wanted to talk to you for a long time. Shout out to Kevin and Will from Explain Yourself. I make the joke all the time that like I steal their guests. We're on the same podcasting network, so like it's cool. But the way I found out about you, Garth, was Kevin was talking about Witch Creek Road, and he said it was the one comic that like legit scared him. And that like and he was like, don't read it with the lights off, which of course I did, because like fuck you, like I'm reading a horror comic with the lights. When you read, that's the good thing about digital comics, right? Is like when you read them digitally, you're on a device, a backlit device, and you can dim the lights or turn them all the way off, or lay in bed in the dark and read these comics, right, till you get tired and fall asleep and give yourself nightmares. And it is a nightmarish scenario when you read Witch Creek Road, and I'm so excited to talk to you about that and talk to you about Skin, which issue 1 was like that also bothered me and was all sorts of crazy. But anyways, I'm already spiraling. I'm just excited to have you on the show tonight, Garth, and I'm really glad that you decided to come on. And you know what's funny, ladies and gentlemen, is Garth is hard to find online. He's got profiles sprinkled around the social sphere, but the way I was able to get a hold of him was through Kickstarter messaging, and I backed his campaign and sent him I sent him a message, and I was like, hey, I'm the I'm the loudmouth from Kevin's show that was commenting, and like, you want to come on my show? And he was like, not really, but I know I need to promo my campaign. So yes,
Pretty much, yeah.
but that was cool. But anyways, I'm so happy to have you, man. You are whether you want to believe it or not, you're one of the top horror writers in comics right now. More people need to be reading your shit. That's just my opinion. So yeah, we'll get more into that later. But again, thank you for coming on. Thanks for being here. Super excited. Next up, Russell, back again. Look at you in like the last volume of Ichabod Jones.
Yeah, I think I have to point out, I think Frank is folding clothes right now while he's waiting for his intro.
The grind never ends, man.
It's like the most baller thing I think I've ever seen. He's like, I'll be here, but I'm going to be folding clothes while I'm doing it. And I love that so much.
Some of us drink a bottle of Jack Daniels. Some of us fold clothes.
It doesn't end. It never stops.
I feel like there's something there, like doing comics and house chores.
Yeah.
Like we could just...
I should get I should get a GoPro and like start doing these while I'm like doing laundry and like
doing the dishes. Hey guys, it's Blake Buzz and washing and drying.
I'll have to be even louder. Mick called me out earlier when he tweeted about this because he was like, "What did you say? Like the most
the most straight-laced, all put together, well organized. There was a lot. It went through a couple revisions."
Yeah. I gotta say though, like you sound like a very for as unorganized and frazzled as you come off on screen sometimes, like you sound like a very nice packet of like how to share, when to come on, what the link was. Like I know, like nobody sends that. Like I know
it's a facade he's putting on his show. Yeah,
or maybe this is the facade. It's basically what I'm saying.
This week was the first week I sent out that. So I was on Kevin and again, I steal everything from Kevin and Will on Explain Yourself. And the first they had me guest spot on one night, even though like they were just like, be on our show and like talk and run your mouth. I was like, done, I can do that. And they sent me this like Google Docs file that had everything. And that was like oh man, that's probably 7 months ago. And so for 7 months, I kept telling myself, I was like, that's a really good idea. We should maybe start implementing that. And then finally, this week, it was actually Garth. Garth was the reason who made me do it. Garth sent me like a message and he was like, hey man, like I have all these questions and I need all these links and I want to know what to do. And I was like, fuck, now's the time. We got to do it. And so I drafted that Google Docs document and I like put the promo art in there and I made links for everything. And I felt really good about it. I was like, holy shit, like I just like leveled up my live stream. But yeah, no, it's a facade. It's all a lie. I do love comics and I love being silly and it's cool. But yeah, anyways, we're here and we're ready and I got you guys here. That's the main thing. I got you guys here. That's it. Like as long as that happens, I was like, what the fuck else is Frank gonna do? Fold his fucking laundry in silence? Like, give me a fucking break.
No, it was either this or watch the Orville. So I'll take a break from that.
Okay, man. Maybe we should take a break and talk about that because everybody keeps talking about it. Anyways, Russell, sorry to spiral and get sidetracked.
Half an hour later, back to Russell.
It's fair. I basically introed Frank, and now I knew what I was doing. I knew I was gonna get this train off the rail, and like it'd take a long time to get it back. But it's great to be here. I don't think I've shaved since I was here last time.
No, I like
you don't
it.
Shave until the next time I see you.
I like the beard. Yeah. Oh, what you don't like the mustache?
No, I love it. I love it. I just wanted to be like bushier, even bushier.
For you. Fuck.
I love it. It's great.
No, I'm so happy to have you back. You were back. Cthulhu was hard to spell. Was the last,
like
was the
6
last
months
one.
ago.
Yeah, it was a while back.
Like that.
It was a while back, and now you're here for. I keep wanting to say Ignacio. It's Ichabod.
No, but now I really wanted to be Ignacio too. Maybe that'll be. Maybe if we ever do a follow up, it'll be Ignacio Jones.
Just
Ignacio Jones. That's a great name. That's like a porn star name. Ignacio Jones.
He's got to have a sick fucking mustache too. But no, Ichabod Jones. It's the final volume, and you know what is impressive? Well, no, I'm gonna wait and talk about why that's impressive once we actually start talking about your campaign, because we're still doing the intro. We're still doing it. We're 10 minutes in. We haven't even introduced everybody yet. But no, Russell, I'm super glad to have you back on the show. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for.
Thank you for having me, man.
Oh man,
great.
I'm like, no, I mean, whatever. But you're fucking like Kickstarter rock star, dude. You're like Kickstarter royalty. Like what are you even doing on my show? What are you even doing on Kickstarter? I'm still surprised that like fucking a publisher isn't fucking picking up Ignacio Jones.
No, don't get Russell started on that.
Look, man, I'm also very upset that a publisher hasn't picked up Ignacio Jones.
Maybe later. Maybe that's why. Maybe because you didn't.
Maybe it needs a name change.
Ignacio. Who we got? We got people in the chat. People in the chat. What's up, Breakington? Hey, yo, what's up? We're here to talk about comics. We're here to have fun. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the live show. We're gonna get weird and get funny and get silly, and I'm gonna keep drinking. I don't know what these other dudes are doing. Like I was like, get lit and talk nerd shit. Frank's folding laundry. That's what. Cool, man. Thanks
you couldn't make me sound more like a square if you tried.
It would be, it'd be cool is if you had like a cigarette, if you were like smoking like a no hand cigarette, just like smoking it, like not touching it while you're folding laundry, just like. That would be fucking sick. Maybe next time we'll get there. Speaking of Frank Martin, ladies and gentlemen,
laundry extraordinaire. I'm actually done. So
laundry and Kickstarter are extraordinary. He is the fastest Kickstarter in the West. He will fucking pull a gun out and shoot you 8 times before you get that mailer in the mail. Like you won't even know. He just like it shocks me. I don't know how you do it, man. You get like so many books out, and you ship them like so wonderfully, and you get them out so fast, and it's mind-boggling, dude. Like you're kind of a magician. You're a dark magician.
Thank you. I like to think I have it down to a little bit of a science, but I mean that's kind of what we do. We make comics, we send them out, and we make more comics. So the more I could do that, the happier I am. That's
funny because that's not what I do at all. I just talk shit. I buy all your guys' comics and talk a whole lot of shit. That's what I do. No, I'm happy to have you back. I love your writing. I love your books. We were DMing earlier, and Frank was like, "Oh shit, like I didn't send you a PDF or anything," and I was like, "Dude, like this was like this comic that we're talking about tonight, The Last Homicide, was the first book I backed from Frank, and it was really cool, and I dug it, and it's got a second issue, which he also sent me, and I didn't read. We were talking about that in the green room. I was like, "Oops, sorry," but to be fair, I can talk about everything I read in the first issue and not spoil anything for anybody.
That's just like live stream podcast etiquette. You're on a show, you send the host a PDF. It's kind of I don't care if you read it. That doesn't matter.
As long as you send it. My job is to send you a PDF, and then I'm done.
You could go, oh great, click download trash. Like I don't care. Like that doesn't bother me.
No, it's technically download cancel my pledge because you just gave me that comic for free, dummy. No, just kidding. I'm just kidding. Everybody knows I'm broke right now because I had to buy a stupid new fucking tablet because my goddamn review reader crapped out on me. But I'm still backing Kickstarters. I'm just backing them digitally and feel bad because it's like, I had to switch. I like Garth's. I had to switch to digital, and it really bummed me out when I was reading Skin because it's fucking wondrously printed, and it's beautiful, and it's got spot color, where it's spot color and really strategic moments, and anyways, like all you guys know how to play the fucking game. You all print really great books. But yeah, like I like Garth was the one where I had to switch to digital, and I was like, oh, he's gonna judge me. He's gonna judge me so hard. I'm gonna fucking wake up with a Garth monster like leering over me in bed, like, why did you switch your pledge, sir? That's what I thought. That was the nightmare I had. Anyways, regardless, Frank, Frank, you're awesome.
Is it still my intro? I'm still up?
Yeah, no, you're still here. Yeah, you're still here. But yeah, so we're here to talk about Last Homicide with you, and it's a little bit different than your other stuff because your other stuff's like weird, and this is like it's not. This isn't a weird horror kind of narrative. This is just like straight noir detective fiction, and you do it well. Like you do it really, really well. It kind of aggravates me how well you do it, and we'll talk about that later because you're just a multifaceted writer.
It makes
and
that,
like
it makes me feel good you say that because I'm completely winging everything I do.
Nice, good, same, dude.
I'm just throwing darts blindfolded. I'm just.
Yeah, that's what I do.
That's my writing style.
I'm just like let's get drunk and like have these people on a show on Wednesday night. And then also, I also do a podcast. I don't know if anybody's listened to Blake's Buzz podcast. There's also a podcast that I do, and then we do a live show, and then sometimes I write reviews, but not a lot because I get sleepy and whatever. But anyways, so yeah, Frank, thanks for coming on. And last but not least, Mr. Mick Byers. Mr. Mick is here to talk about Royo Cheeks. Oh man, she's a sexy, thick, curvy little thing. Oh man. And talks a lot, talks more than me. Like fuck, she's a talker. She's a talker. How you doing tonight, man?
I'm actually a little disappointed we got to me so soon. I thought we'd still be on that interesting thing you thought about Ignacio by this point. But if it's to me already. I mean, I'm also just sitting here drawing comics.
We could do it at Ignacio Cheeks as well. The spin-off of the husband she doesn't want.
Crossover nobody knew they needed.
Yeah, I'm sitting here drawing comics and I'm thinking, damn, I could have like brought my laundry to fold. I'm the chump in this scenario. Like I could.
You did that last time. You drew comics the last time you were on the show. I
always draw comics.
You just never stop.
As much as you enjoy talking about comics, I really enjoy drawing comics.
Weird. I actually hate talking about comics. I do this because I don't know why I do it. Why do I do this?
Because you hate yourself.
Why do I? Yeah. Oh, that part is true. You know me. Yeah. You fucking Mick. Mick just called me out to the world. Everybody. God damn. But no, this is you know what? And you're gonna be the first one because you were the last to intro and might as well be the first to talk. This is way different than the other shit. We went from like sexy aliens to sexy Midwestern or no, not Midwestern, sexy Southern gal in the Wild West.
Sexy Southwestern. Yeah.
Yeah. She's thick and she's curvy. She's like she ain't called Cheeks for no reason.
For nothing. Yeah. I actually drew Royo Cheeks before I drew the Mars books, the first Mars book. Because I was thinking I was going to do it as a graphic novel, and I got to page 28 of Royo, and I was like, oh, the way I drew page 27 was like pretty fun and interesting. I'd like to try that on its own project. And then I drew the first Mars book, and I didn't come back to Royo until this Kickstarter. Like I've had that first issue done since April 2020, and it's just been sitting there.
Oh wow!
It felt like I was sitting at home, and I was thinking, it's been a long time since I've been on Blake's show. How am I going to get back on? I need to start a Kickstarter. What do I have on my computer that I can use to, crowbar my way onto the show?
Well, so a couple weeks ago, you popped in. You were all over the comments a couple weeks ago, and
that's it's a statement to how much I missed you. The sound of your voice.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, he was here. Charlie Stickney was on the show, and Mick was in the comments, and he was talking about stuff, and like literally when I got off the show, and then he had already sent me an email, and he was like, Blake, thanks for already agreeing to have me on your show again. Here's my new comic. And I was like, well, I fucking can't say no. But also like I wouldn't say no because let's pull this up. Let's pull this up here. Let's hear. Let's raise Mick up so everybody can see him. All right, here's his beautiful gal. Oh shit, you're already funded. Why are you even on my show? You don't need help. Right? You're good. Yeah. You're fucking.
I'm telling you, like the only is as soon as I'm done on the show tonight, I'm actually going to cancel the project because I only love the show.
Look, I just wanted to know if it could happen. Like, fuck all these people. But no, I love this. It's so funny. It's very funny and it's very cute and also simultaneously sexy. And also there's a really good cliffhanger, and like I already want issue 2. Like I backed this I want issue 2. Like I want to see how fucking crazy it gets. I want the guns to be reloaded. I want the 6s full and firing, baby. Like that's what I want. But yeah, we got Miss Cheeks here, and she's about to be wed, and she's traveling through the West, and she stops in a town, and she's so innocent. Oh, she's too innocent. It's like if fucking like Betty Crocker ended up in fucking Deadwood. Like, I don't even know. Like, does that make sense to everybody? But she just like, she gets dropped into the Wild West. She gets held up. And she talks about how her friend, I'm pretty sure her friend had a gangbang with a bunch of fucking like rebels and like talked about it. And she's like, she kind of wants the gang. Like, I don't know. And maybe it's about a gangbang. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Mick.
When I first started on Royo, it was initially like much more adult. The opening sequence wasn't her and Whipcord conversing in the stagecoach. It was her and Whipcord entertaining each other in the stagecoach.
Like sexually entertaining, or
like sexually, yes, sexually entertaining. I'm not sure what the demographic for your audience is, so I don't want to shock anyone.
I don't know, man. I don't even know what my demographic is.
But yeah, so originally it started.
I just say go live, and whoever turns it.
Yeah, I just clicked the fucking.
If your children are still up, that's your fault as a parent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like it originally started much differently, was much more adult throughout. That little aside about her friend is from that first draft.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. And the problem I have with writing, because originally I was going to do like a full porn thing because those do very well, and I like money.
They do. Yeah. Ask Pat Shand. He's fucking rolling in the dough right now.
But I'm not Pat Shand. So as I worked on the story and developed the story, the pornographic elements kept like taking a backseat. It was like, but what would be interesting here? Conversation. They should talk here instead of having sex here because that would be more interesting. Then it wouldn't be. But I really like talking. Like it's a book of talking heads, and that is a book I love to draw.
Same.
That's how I hooked my wife.
Yeah, as a single man who bounces around on the dating apps, I'm like, hey, ladies, chill. Like I'd love to sex you up, but can we talk? Can we have a conversation? Can we talk about our goals and dreams and like? Can I tell you about my podcast for about an hour and a half? That's what I really want to do. I want to match with a nice Tinder gal and talk about my podcast for about 90 minutes.
That's the dream. That's the dream.
Hey baby, what's your favorite dinosaur? Let me.
Hey, do you read comics? No, you don't. Cool. Let me tell you about what I do in my free time. But no, it's good. But like in like a cyclone, she blew. Like was that kind of like hot and like what's the cyclone and who's getting blown? Like what's
blown? Yeah, no, that is now a cover of just 100% false advertising.
There's nothing
sexy about the book. There's nothing fun or engaging about the book. It is just a bunch of adults having different conversations about boring adult topics.
And about why she's like both excited and not excited to be married.
Yeah.
I love when she meets the sexy mayor, by the way, when she's like, oh, like, well, I'm not married yet. I'm like, yeah, no, you're not. Like, let's see. But you guys need to go to brunch. Like, let's go to brunch. Let's drink some mimosas. See what happens. Are they gonna drink some mimosas and see? Like,
do they have mimosas? Like, how old is the mimosa?
How old? I'm googling that.
I mean, listen,
it's not a fucking BlackBerry, dude. It's not like
Old West comic.
1925.
Yes, that's what I just said, Frank.
Awesome. They just have to get like old
you can't drink mimosas if you don't have a Wi-Fi connection. Like, what the fuck? But no, I love this whole comic. It took me for a ride, and I like that you're playing games with. Is it sexy? Is it not? Like, is it? But the dialogue is really good too. So like, I make jokes, but when his characters talk, it's very funny. It's very funny and organic, and you're kind of there for it.
It's the same thing my wife brought up with my Mars book. Is like, because my Mars book is set on Edgar Rice's Barsoom, where there's like constantly sword fights and actions nonstop. And like this was originally a very pornographic comic where people were boning nonstop. And I take out all the pornography for conversation, and in the Mars books, I take out all the action for conversation because I love, again, talking heads. And my wife is like, but why? Why would you remove the stuff people actually want to read about to include all these conversations? But that's what I enjoy. That's the part of the comic that gets me at the table, just like talking heads for days.
So you do all this yourself, like
yeah. So Royo
you draw it, you letter it, everything.
Yeah. So Royo is the first time I've attempted. It's not the first thing I've colored. It's the first time I've attempted to color a book. All my other books are in black and white or colored by other people. So this one, like Royo essentially started out as an exercise in style. I wanted to try something a little cartoonier, a little looser. And so that was the focus. And I got about 12 to 13 pages in before I decided to like finish writing it out and like try to put the story together. And then I got another 2 or 3 pages down the line from there and thought, like it's already kind of goofy, cartoony looking. If I color it poorly, who's gonna care? Because I'm not pretending to be photorealistic here. I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to be
You're trying to say women don't look like this?
Do they? I don't get out of my basement very often. I'm not sure what they look like.
I don't either. Except I don't live in a basement. I live in a garage. But like same deal. Like where's real life?
The garage is the adult basement. You move out of the basement into the converted garage.
Oh, so I've upgraded from basement to garage.
Right? Because like you're in Kansas City, right? Like here in the Midwest, we understand the importance of the garage as a livable space. I've been in more living room garages than I've been in living rooms.
That's funny because like we get like tornadoes and shit, and like I always feel weird. Like when I was a kid and I learned about like this like 1940s tornado that like flipped my neighborhood upside down, and everybody was like, yeah, tornadoes, you like go to the basement, and in real life I was like, we don't have a basement, and they were like, no, we have a crawl space, and I was like, no one's fucking going down into that fucking crawl space.
You got to go outside and watch it. You got to see what's going on.
You gotta stand out there with your beer and be like, yep, there it is. There's that funnel cloud, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, that looks like a big one. Yeah. No, so it started as an experiment. I kept going with it. Once I removed the pornographic elements and figured out what I wanted the story to be, that's when I started describing it as, well, actually not even then. I didn't know what to describe it as. And then back in October last year, my family and I finally discovered Ted Lasso. And Ted Lasso was like, oh, this is the character I've been trying to write.
After we got rid of the full-blown penetration, we went to Ted Lasso, who was just the most like charming, like lovely cinematic
so like
I've ever had.
Talk about a U-turn.
How I describe the book now is a Ted Lasso spaghetti western, because you have these bandits, you have these people in town who, violence is the first thing they reach for. If you come at them with violence, they respond with violence. And now I know who I want Royo to be, and Royo is this character that comes into the space, and when she is approached with violence, her response isn't to also then reach for violence. It's like, what are other ways we could resolve this situation, approach this situation, and her kind of dragging the townspeople along with her throughout the story.
That's funny. So then I thought it was all like naivete, right? Like I thought she was just like so enraptured with herself and her like this new adventure. Like she's just like, everybody wants to know my story. Oh, like even if they're trying to rob me, like, oh, but like I'm about to like go meet my husband. Do you guys want to hear about my husband? I don't really know if I want to get married to him or not. But
this first issue is a lot of that. Is a lot of her just like coming in kind of like live, and unaware of things, and then how we pick up with issue 2 after the issue 1 cliffhanger. We kind of turn things around, and we get to see that other side of her as she responds to what's happening in the town outside of her, and maybe not everything is all about her in the end. Like, I guess, like, Royo's purpose in the story is being Ted Lasso to this town, but Royo's journey in the story is becoming the Ted Lasso we all know and love, and I assume at some point is going to win the World Series of football. I'm not sure how that sport works.
Who's
as a
the
concept.
soccer team here, Mick? Like,
Yeah,
where's the soccer team at? And who's she gonna make biscuits for?
I don't know. I actually do know they're in the first issue, and it is anyone is expecting.
All right. I really like that Texas blood and the old timer. He just grunts like the whole time.
The pattern,
yeah. Patter reminds me of like that the sheriff in Texas Blood, because he always says, "Well," they're like, "Dibbity, someone got murdered and all these things are happening." He's like, "Well, and that's it. That's it. That's it. That's the fucking dial," and it makes sense. And he does the same thing. But he doesn't even say "well." He's just like,
"Yep, all the time." Yeah,
like, fuck, man, that's how I need to talk. I'm gonna start doing that during interviews, like oh yeah, like get people talking, and then when they get done, I'll just be like, like and then just let the deadening silence air and just not edit it out, just like
just leave it, see who picks it up first.
Like, like, what the fuck, really? Like, you shave your beard off, you just grunt at me? Like, when did I agree to do this show? But no, it's a really fun comic, and you write women very interesting. You write oh wow, I just fucked that up. You write interesting women well, is what I meant to say. And we did that with Mars, right? Where it's like you got this hot naked chick who's like trying to, like, get things back in control, and then like kind of sort of befriend this alien who's also maybe going to save her, and like she's got to deal with all this shit. And then in this one you have this very like naive woman she's like naive, but she has actually a shit ton of agency. Like, she fucking puts her fucking foot in the sand and you're not going to move her. And we see that in the scene when the outlaws hold up her carriage, right? And she's like, I'm not scared. I'm not gonna let these men scare me. And it's very smart and very fun and intriguing, and along with the art, which is also different than what I've read from you previously. And I love the colors. You mentioned earlier, I remember for the Mars comic, you were thinking about coloring it, but maybe not, or maybe later. And you made jokes on the talk where you were like, yeah, this is like, I'm shitty at coloring, but like, this comic is really pretty. It's super pretty. I love it's kind of like a pastel semi-muted vibrance. It's not like over the top. We're not like neon, like you're not like, covering your eyes at the brightness of these pages. But there is a lot of color. There's a lot of fun to be had. These are pretty. These are beautiful pages. Like, I'm not going to yank you around. Like, these are good looking comic.
I did draw it like over 2 years ago, and typically my experience as an artist is when I go back to anything I've drawn that's older than about 35 minutes, I hate it. And I hate everything it's ever represented about me as a person, and I want to burn it with fire, and I don't want anyone to look at it. Coming back to this after 2 years, it's like I'm still very happy and very proud of how this turned out and what I managed to accomplish with this. My only concern now is that it's been 2 years since I did it. Do I remember how I did it? Can I draw it? Or is it going to look totally different since so much time has passed?
And this is going to be a 4-banger, right? Like, you want 4 issues of this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that might be tricky, right? Like, you got to come back to it, get back into that zone.
Yeah, because I've got about 11 pages of the second issue penciled. I've got the rest of that thumbnail. I've got the first 4 pages colored, and that's where I left everything in April 2020. So coming back into it, it's nice at least that I have kind of my process like laid out through those incomplete pages that I can refer back to. But it's going to be interesting to see if I can recapture, you know, that magic I've already put down. Can I?
Do you ever slip up and then like next page like everybody's naked and there's a one-arm alien? You're like, fuck, I forgot where I was at.
Like, I'm drawing the wrong book again.
Son of a bitch.
I did do that a couple times with like in the Mars books. I would put cartoonier faces on people than I anticipated, and sometimes in this book I did a couple corrections and I was like, I'm going to put in some hatching here for these clothes folds, and like, no, that's not this book. That's the other book.
So I recently there's some really great Western comics out there, and I recently read like Lone Ranger from Mark Russell, and
the
that
one
like
with
that.
John Cassidy did the art on.
Yeah, well, no,
Yeah.
he did the
No.
covers. He did the covers.
He did the covers. Yeah.
But like that was a really great comic. And like, what anything inspiring you like on the back end of like Western comics? Because I feel like they're kind of coming back. Like we're kind of got like a resurgence.
Yeah, there were a bunch. Like when I launched on Kickstarter, I went through looking at all the other Western comics that were live at the time to see what my cross promotional opportunities were, and there were quite a few out there. Like I was surprised to see that many. Westerns have never actually been my genre of choice. I like Silverado. I think Silverado was a perfect movie. But
Yeah.
outside of Silverado, I've seen a Western, but I'm not sure what it is. I don't remember it.
Everybody had guns. They were drinking whiskey. I don't know. I don't know.
One of the things I wanted to do with the series was using Royo as the focal character, and her approach to this town is that, like a lot of Westerns, it's like one man with the gun changing the world and standing against the government. And it's like I wanted to subvert that as much as I could, and so I knew I wanted this character of Royo to kind of like stick her foot in the sand, force the world to change around her, and I thought a Western would be a good situation for that. When you have a lot of myths about individuality being the determining factor in society, and just do what you're told, tell the government to fuck off. It's like, no, only through working together does this town achieve what it's after, instead of just that one rugged Marble man. I don't know how to say that. Kind of being the end-all, be-all in terms of the story.
All right. Well, that's cool. All I know is the issue is really fun and worth some money. That's what I feel like.
And that's all I want from people is their money.
Yeah, just like
the book.
just shut up, give him your fucking money, and grease your gun. Get that barrel oiled, load it up, get ready to fire it off into the ether sphere, whatever. But no, it's good, man. I dig it. It wasn't anything like I expected it to be. I didn't expect it to be as lighthearted as it was, and like I said, it's very humorous. And then the first issue is great, and the end of it really makes you want a second, which I think in comics that's kind of the deal, right? Like you want people to buy that. Yeah. Especially on Kickstarter. Like you really want people to be like, oh shit, like I got to back this and I got to get ready and I want to be there. I want to be there for the new one. And so, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, like it's, there's a great cliffhanger. There's great characters. There's absolutely wonderful art. Like, I don't want to give Mick too much credit, cause he's just so goddamn full of himself already. But he really is, he's got a great, he's got a great book here.
We artists are known for our just raging egotism.
Just over the top. Yeah. Just like, Jesus Christ, man. Like, do you want to climb Everest? You want to climb Mick's ego? Because they're both going to kill you. You're going to end up dead. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But it's a great comic and everybody should check it out. And I was a big fan. I was very much surprised. And I think there's a resurgence of Western and fantasy comics right now. And I think Western and fantasy collide very well.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of crossover.
Yeah. And then so yeah, like I just back mix comic, right? And if not, go fuck yourself. Like it's one or the other. Either back mix comic or go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
There's no in between.
There's But now that I've been on the show, thank you, Blake. I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna cancel the project.
Yeah,
what I needed to do.
everything's
Rest
done.
of you guys enjoy the
Nothing's
show,
real.
yeah.
No, it's cool, awesome. No, but yeah, everybody should check it out. It's a fun comic, and we got some cool prints with some talented artists, and yeah, it's pretty, man. You draw,
I do want to talk.
You draw curvaceous, lovely, entertaining women and side characters.
Side characters I enjoy in D&D. I enjoy playing NPCs more than I enjoy playing PCs. Like, I'll play a character for a session and then I'm out. I feel the same way about side characters. Anytime I draw someone in the background, I usually have more fun with them than I do drawing the people in the foreground.
So you're like you're a world. I guess you're a world builder. I guess you're that kind of creator.
I think I'm just afraid of the emotional trauma of growth and change in a character. I want cardboard cutouts.
In a character or in real life, like
everywhere.
I feel like that's a deep rooted issue we could maybe talk about later.
I do want to mention the alternate covers I got, because I got one from Emily Pearson and Connor Hughes, who are
yep, here, hold on, I'll bring it back up.
Amazing artist, and like Connor I've known for a while, and I've always loved his work. And then Emily Pearson, I've seen online everywhere.
I actually love this
Charlie
cover.
Schmidt covers for Will Allred's crossover division.
Yeah,
that I always really loved. So I thought she would be a great fit for the look of Royo, and it absolutely does not disappoint. I love
that cover.
If you do back the book, do not get my cover. Get the covers of Emily Pearson and Connor Hughes. Those are the covers you want.
Because I'm a big Connor Hughes fan, and I love this. I love this as well, and I love the background and how busy it is. But Emily Pearson. The more I see of Emily Pearson, the more I'm a big fan of hers.
She's fantastic.
So yeah, you can get there's some cool variants, and yeah, you guys, everybody check that out. Mick Byers, you should put him on your fucking radar. He makes some pretty cool comics. Guest on your show, he's okay. Comics, he does pretty good. No, I'm just kidding, man. You're awesome. All right, so who's going next? Everybody wrestle. No, all right, just kidding. Let's go. Fuck you. Let's go, Frank.
Okay.
What's up?
It sounded like how my wife. I found my wife.
Oh, well, I'm not putting out, so it's that's not happening. Anyways, so Frank Martin's here, and I guess I'm like his wife, and he's got a comic about a couple detectives. One of them's about to retire. There's some mafioso shenanigans going on. One of the heads of the mafia's son gets assassinated, and these detectives got to figure it out. And he's got you, dude. You have a really good. The dialogue here is great. So like,
can I just sit back and just let you do everything?
Yeah, I'll just do everything. I'm gonna do. All right. So there's this comic called The Last Homicide, and it's about these two detectives. And they're both really excited to be detectives, right? They just love every moment of their job, and they're just embracing the joy of murder and solving the crimes and like why this happened and but no, they're Frank, you write some pretty gnarly shit, but this is kind of outside of your box, right? You've moved semi outside of your comfort zone for this 2-issue tale, and this is the wrap up for it. Real quick question though, how come you didn't do a double issue fancy edition like you've done with a couple other comics?
But I did.
Oh shit! Never mind. Just kidding, ladies and gentlemen. Did you really?
Fuck did,
you!
Yeah.
I just backed the. I have the first issue, so I did the $10 regular issue.
That's fine. Look. So yeah, I do a lot of two parters, or I have so far, and I sell single editions of both parts, and then I put them together in a double-sized issue where you get the complete story. And I did that for Polar Paradox and Pipe Creepers, and now I did the same thing for The Last Homicide. So
Yep, he sure did. I was just kidding, ladies and gentlemen. I totally researched that, knew what was happening.
it's okay.
It's okay. You can't be perfect all the time.
I mean, this is the comic you didn't read, right? This is the homework you didn't do before the show.
I read the first issue.
I know how
All
it
right,
starts,
cool.
which is the most important thing.
I could talk about everything that happens until the end of it. But no, well, yeah. So like, I'm not the best host. That's fine. But also, like I joked around earlier, like I can't spoil anything. One of the hardest parts about my job is bringing you guys on and being like, oh yeah, like I'm excited for this, and like you guys should back it. And then, oops, I just fucking spoiled the end of it because I got too excited and said too much. And so now I can't. I literally can't do that. I don't even know what fucking covers and special editions he has for this thing. But to be fair, the reason I don't know that is because I love this comic so much. When he dropped issue 2, I said, "Yep, $10 regular cover, backed, done. I'm ready for this shit." And it because it's good. It's really good. And the first, like, I love the covers. And I saw a couple people commented too, like when people were sharing this campaign, like they were like, "Ooh, like I love these covers." Like it's got a really great, like even just as a cover, just looking at it, it's got like a solid noir vibe. These two detectives, they're fucking tired, they're done. They just kind of want to get a fucking break. Like it's one of their birthdays. Neither of them eat fucking the strawberry cake. Like these guys are so fucking burned out in this hellacious city that they're like, I'm not even gonna eat this fucking strawberry cake, man. Like these fucking dudes killed this fucking mafia chick's son. We gotta do it. I can't fucking eat your strawberry cake now, motherfuckers. That's how hardcore this shit is. We can't even eat cake, motherfuckers. We gotta solve this crime. That's real shit, man. That's hardcore.
So, yeah, no, you were saying how this is a little bit outside my box, outside my wheelhouse. And I don't consider myself like a mystery detective writer, you know, but I love all kinds of stories, and I love detective stories. I love that detective on the grind, you know, got a job to do. And so often with comics, we see stuff like that, then they want to mix it with something else. Oh, it's a detective noir book, but it takes place on a space station, you know, and there's aliens involved. Or it's a detective noir book, except the detective is a 20-year-old porn star with big fake tits. I just wanted to get back to basics, straight noir, pulp, old school, dime novel kind of stuff.
So you and Mick need to do a crossover where you write the noir narrative and Mick draws you the big fake tits.
And then, like, they'll be completely separate stories. He'll give me a script, and I'll still just draw whatever I want.
But this is why we do these things, so we can like bring everybody together. But no, anyways,
Cross-pollinate.
Sorry to interrupt you, Frank. But yeah, like it's.
I wanted to do a pure story, you know,
Yeah.
and I think you were talking about the covers. The covers really embody that feel. That's what this is about, you know, the Art Deco, 1940s gangster vibe, and that's what this is about. And people that back it kind of say, yeah, that's what I want. I don't want to mix genres. I just want something pure, something what do they call the dogs? Purebred. It's a purebred
Like
detective
they call them
story.
Purebred
fucking
mystery.
dogs, you weirdo. What do you? What do they call? What do you call it when you get a dog and it's young? You call it a puppy. No, that's not it. That's not it.
The dog that's not a mutt, you know, it's not mixed. My story is not a mutt. It's a purebred pulp noir detective story. None of this Sin City yellow dude bullshit.
Oh yeah, like fuck you, Frank Miller. My name's Frank Martin. If you're a Frank Miller, go fuck yourself. This is a pure noir story. This is where real detective comics. No, I joke, but he is he is it's fucking good. It's very similar to like Brubaker-esque, like
This
the Goat Noir shit.
This is that Maltese Falcon Dashiell Hammett shit, you know?
Yeah. This is that like I go live on fucking comic shows on Wednesday night when I fold my fucking laundry and I talk about fucking mafias fucking killing kids and shit, and these fucking cops, they don't get their cake, baby. They don't get their cake and eat it too. They turn down the cake. They don't even eat it. They're like, you give me that cake, you go fuck yourself. I gotta solve a crime, baby. No, but it's good. I'm sorry. I'm an asshole. But
Well,
it's good. It's really good though. It's
when
solid
you have murder mysteries like this, it's all about the landing. You know, what is the mystery? What is the twist? So that's what's making me nervous about part 2 is that I gotta land. It doesn't matter how it starts. I gotta land that twist. I gotta.
Good
really
news
hit
is
it hard.
I don't know how part 2 ends, so you better back it. We gotta find out. We gotta throw it out.
I'm glad you didn't read it. I would hate you to come on here and be like, this motherfucker had no idea what he was doing.
Wouldn't that be great if I like had you guys on your show? Be like, man, issue 1 was really great. You really shit the bed on the second issue. Like, what were you doing? You too busy fucking folding laundry, petting your sleeping puppy on the bed behind you? Like what were you doing when you were writing this, man?
Frank, you wrote yourself into a corner, man. I don't know what the hell you.
Yeah. What's this called? Is it called is this the last homicide or is it Lost? Because you fucking swept me up into a clusterfuck and we're not getting out of it.
Frank, you sold me on a noir story and all of a sudden the porn star came out, was the killer at the end. I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, there's just huge tits everywhere. I mean, it was great, but what the fuck? We got Senior Londar says, I'm still hung up on these poor detectives being too burned out even for cake. Dude, it's heartbreaking. Like that strawberry cake looked real good. I'm not gonna lie. Like strawberry cake is delicious.
He's been on the job 20 years, got diabetes and shit. He can't be having cake.
Yeah, I got fucking diabetes too. I'm drinking Jack and Coke right now. I might die. I might stroke out. Who knows what's gonna fucking. Guess what? If fucking someone told me to eat cake, I'd eat it. Life's short. You eat the fucking cake. Eat the goddamn cake. No, it's I'm sorry, man. I'm so you're never gonna come on my show again. Fuck. No. But it's good. It's like Frank, it's so good. The dialogue, the back and forth, you make this scenario that's not outlandish, that's not something that we've not necessarily ever seen before, but you make it feel fresh and you make it feel fun, and it's because you're there in the moment and you have a good eye on these characters, and you wrap us up in their personal lives. Just like I joke around about the cake, but that little moment of turning down the cake, like that says a lot about these two men. You know,
you're not the first person to bring up the cake. I've had a bunch of people be like, these cops, man, they're not even eating cake. I'm like, I wrote that in like 30 seconds. I was even thinking about it. And everyone's getting so caught up.
Everyone's caught up. They're like, I don't even care about who killed this fucking mafia chick's son. Like, why aren't they eating the strawberry cake? Fuck! That's cool too, man. Hey, whatever gets people to back the comic. Like, do you guys want to know why they don't eat the cake? You got a back issue 2, and you may as well get the super deluxe issue that I totally knew was on the tiers of the Kickstarter, where they're both combined into a fancy comic. I got your sci-fi issue, the
Polar Paradox.
Yeah, I got the Polar Paradox. I bought the double issue. And that was I really died. You came out with the Virgin variant.
That will be the sequel's going to be my next one.
Nice.
So that should be fun.
So yeah, I like that. So is it hard? You feel like you're like a 2-arc guy, or not a 2-arc, but you're like a 2-issue guy. You do a lot in 2 issues.
I mean, I do a lot. Are you saying I do a lot in 2 issues, or I do a lot of 2 issues?
Both. You do a lot of 2 issues, and you do a lot in 2 issues. But it's like you produce like a real solid arc in 2 issues.
It's a practical choice.
Okay.
Number one, I like to launch a lot of different projects, and if I do like a 5-issue story, that takes up a whole bunch of launches that I have during the year, you know. But if I want to turn a whole bunch of different IPs or products, I gotta keep it short so that I tie it up and move on to the next thing. And also, when I'm working with a whole bunch of different artists, 2 issues is like an easy commitment, you know. If I'm working with an artist, I say this is going to be a 10-issue arc. We're gonna be together for 3 decades working on this thing, you know. That's tough to pull off. But if I say, yeah, we got 40 pages, we can kind of pull it out, maybe a year and a half. It seems a lot more doable. So,
with you jumping around between genres and project type, like,
I'm all
like,
over the place.
Does your audience expect that transition? Like, do you carry a lot of those guys, or do you kind of have like separate audiences for each different type of project?
I consider them all one audience, and I'm surprised by the number of backers I get that move from one project to the next.
Yeah.
So
Do
I mean,
you,
a lot
do
of
you
people
get like
don't.
a lot of your, because I mean, does a lot of your audience stay, or do they
surprising
kind
amounts.
of
I'm always surprised by the fact that I write a happy-go-lucky story about Jack and the Beanstalk taking place in space with aliens, and then I write something about an alcoholic monster that
They're perfect companion.
God.
Say it like that.
That was a real fun episode when he was on for that one too. When I was fucking shithoused hammered talking about this fucking monster
depressing ass story about.
You guys, alcohols are bad, but it makes my show way better. Back this thing, man. It's great. No, that was great though.
Yeah. So I have a terrible business model. It's basically what you were saying, Mick. I'm gonna write what I want to write, and you know what? If you want to get it, you want to get it. If you don't, you don't. That's kind of kind of how I do it, and I'm always surprised.
That's
by
a
the
terrible
amount of
business model. Oh shit! Like I need to think a lot of things
Russell
about
will
my
definitely
life.
tell you that.
Yeah,
Because
Russell's like, I've sold fucking more comics than fucking everybody in the world. You guys
Well,
need to get your shit together.
Russell's advice, what he tells people that are starting out, is poll your audience, see what they want from you.
Yeah.
And my response is, I don't give a fuck what you want. I'm gonna just make what I want. And
yeah.
And
like,
I love
Royo
that. I love that about you, Frank, and that's why I keep backing your fucking comics. Like,
it's
honestly.
always a gamble though, because I never know what's gonna hit and what's gonna miss. But you know what? I get a lot of fulfillment out of creating this stuff, so it's a give and take. And
Yeah.
I'm always surprised by the amount of people that backs what I put out, regardless of what the genre
because
is.
that was kind of like, I wanted to do something different, which is why I went ahead and followed Royo up with a Kickstarter. And it's like, it is so different that I got very little crossover from my previous audience. And it's like, I still enjoy it. Like, I'm still glad I brought the book to Kickstarter, but like, I'm building the audience for Royo independent of my Martian books.
Well, I think you also have to. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I think it's gotten to the point where I've been doing this for a couple of years now, where people are backing, not because they like the genre, just because they're curious about what I'm going to do with it, you know? Because it's like, Frank's never done this before, he's doing something new, let's see how he pulls it off, and then they end up liking it. So I get a lot of the curiosity backers.
I think you got to train your audience to like do that too. You know, I mean, you know, I do comics, I do novels, I do anthologies, I do horror, I do fantasy, I do all sorts of stuff, and like, you got to train your audience to be like, I can do more than one thing. Otherwise, they just won't follow you. But once you build that audience, like, they'll follow you to a lot of places you never would expect them to follow you.
Yeah, I agree with that, with what Russell said. If I had been doing 5 horror campaigns in a row and then I did a noir, people would be like, that's not really your thing. But since I'm bouncing around so much, bouncing around is my thing. So it's kind of like they're going to be expecting me to do something completely different.
And it becomes kind of like Neil Gaiman, right? Or like an author who does a lot of genres. It's like, it's Frank's take on this. It becomes like, I want to see Frank's take on whatever thing that he's doing, right?
So I'm not a huge fan of him, but I like Danny Boyle and the filmmaker Danny Boyle, and he says, I never want to make the same movie twice. And if you look at what he's done Slumdog Millionaire. He did the sci-fi film Sunshine. 28 Days Later. He's all over the place in his genres because he bounces around. He wants to do different takes on all of these different genres that he can do. And I feel the same way. You know, I want to write a time travel story. I want to do my spin on a werewolf story, or my spin on a ghost story, or my spin on a porn star western. You know? So I just want to try different things and see how I could handle it.
I would ask you to stay in your lane, all right? There is only room for so many porn
Yeah.
star westerns.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, you can't just fucking take over Miss cheeks, right? Like it. Just let those flop around in the wind.
It's
Frank.
funny you say that because I have a bunch of friends that did crime stories as like their first big Kickstarters or the first big series, and when I launched this, they're like, "Frank, what are you doing? This is our spot." I'm like, "Move over." There's a new sheriff
Go
in
fuck
town.
yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Frank Martin.
I feel like it's
Neil
more likely
Gaiman
to say
sucks.
like, it's okay,
I
I'll only be
fucking
here
right
like
you
6
are.
months. Like, you know, it's like I won't be here very long, and then I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
So like, just shut up and put up with me for.
I kick the door in. I sit down at the desk, and I'll be fired in a week. That's how it works.
Like, you know what I do? I fold laundry and I write badass comics, motherfuckers.
And I'm all out of laundry.
I'm all out of laundry. And my kids are asleep, so go fuck yourself. No,
They are, because you have live streams going on at 11 o'clock at night.
yeah, that's what I do. I keep you guys up late. I want to make sure your Thursdays suck after you fucking do a Blake's Buzz
Not
live.
even halfway through the projects.
Yeah. I do right before we switch it up and move to another project. Frank, you do this for all your Kickstarters. You do these short story commissions. Is that terrifying? Like when people back this and you're like, yes, I love your money. Side note, oh God. Because don't they have to like give you like little tidbits of like, they're like, yes, like, so like there's this guy and he's angry and he hates cake and he finds some PCP. He does this PCP and then he's like, he finds his bullet casing in the trash. And then he finds this chick and she's got like these tits and they're great. And then boom, and just write that. And here's $100. Like,
You know what? That's a Pulitzer Prize winning story right there. I mean, you get two different types of people. You get some people that say, I don't care what you write, and then other people that give you kind of specifics. And as a writer, I really cherish the challenge of creating a story. So I love that. I love people just throwing a whole bunch of different stuff at me and trying to make it work and into something that's semi-readable and enjoyable. So no, I doesn't terrify me. It actually gets me excited. Like, yeah, give me the craziest idea you could possibly think of. And
man,
let's just make it happen.
if I had more money, I'd back that tier, and I would make you regret that statement. That's all. Maybe next year. Maybe next year I'm gonna start saving money, and I'm gonna put Frank I'm gonna put Baby in a corner and have him be like, you know what? I'm not gonna put this on my Kickstarters anymore.
So I don't know if I told this story the last time I was on, but my buddy and I we did a live stream, and we decided we were gonna come up with a story on the spot on the live stream. People were going to give us story suggestions. He was going to basically draw like a pinup or a cover for it, and I was going to write a short story as we streamed. And we said, come up with ideas. And somebody was being a smartass, and he just spouted out a bunch of random words. He said like Nazi, bunny rabbits, hot air balloon, bananas, rocket launcher, monster hunter. And he goes, LOL JK. And I'm like, no. You can't say that and then expect me not to write a story about it. So yes, I wrote a story about a Nazi hunting rabbit in a hot air balloon with a banana rocket launcher. It was ridiculous, but it was a good time.
It's super ridiculous, and that's the origin story of our last American president, ladies and gentlemen. that's the story of America. No, that's awesome. I love it. I love that you put yourself out there that much. Like a Kickstarter is already like stressful enough, right? And you like add this fucking whole other like, just this fucking like pallet of cement blocks that you drop on your shoulders. You're like, why not? Let's do this too.
For the Malady campaign, somebody picked up the producer short comic, so I'm working with someone right now to make a 5-page comic for them. So yeah, I just love creating stories and especially when it's a challenge and I'm trying to work with somebody to make it happen and make it work, So
last before we move on, you have been all over the genres. Where's your happy place? Where are you comfortable at? Where would your well, I don't want to ask where your next Kickstarter will be because that's probably some place.
I told you that was Polar Paradox sequels. The next one, the one after that is sci-fi.
But like, where do I feel? Where are you happy at? Where are you comfy at?
I love horror, specifically like serial killer horror. I don't know. There's something about getting in the mind of the most twisted person you could possibly create that just makes you feel warm and fuzzy. I'm sure Russell feels that way too. I'm sure.
You mean the guy with the serial killer comic? I don't know.
Yeah. There's something about tapping into your darkest impulses that kind of feels like therapeutic.
Nice. All right. Well, speaking of the darker impulses, and Russell, you're gonna close the show, so it's not gonna be you next. Now it's time to talk to Garth. I'm really excited to talk to Garth because I'm gonna make Garth talk, and he's gonna tell us a lot of stories, and we're gonna get. I really want Garth to just never ever want to do an interview again after this, basically, because
I think he's already there.
He's already there. He's totally there. He was there. He was there before.
Decided
he messaged me and he was like, "Why do you want me to be on your show? I hate doing this." He even goes, what did he say when I messaged him? I was like, Garth, I really want to talk to you about your horror comic, and he was like, I really don't like doing that, but I guess I have to. That's like what his response to me was. But like, Garth, you're really good at it, man. Like, you are really good at making people uncomfortable. You're really good about guiding your artist, and maybe it works both ways. Maybe like the artist guides you and you guide your artist, but like there is a lot of discomfort. And like, so all right, this is me the other night, ladies and gentlemen. Picture me in bed naked. All right, we don't need to, but I mean that's true. It's hot. It's a hot summer night. I'm laying in bed naked. I got my new tablet, right? Got my sexy new tablet, Galaxy S8 Plus, 12 and a half inches. The tablet. That's it. Sorry, but I'm reading this in bed, and for the longest time I've wondered, right, like how web comics work and how Webtoon works, right? Because it just seems like you get to read comics for free, and I'm like, but what the fuck? And if you look up Witch Creek Road, you guys are over like 1 million hits. I'm pretty sure. Like you're like, yeah, oh yeah, look at him nonchalant. I'm like, we did that. But like so like you have this fucking huge audience, and I'm reading this fucking book in bed, and I'm fucking scrolling, man. And that's how you read web comics, right? You scroll, and the fucking the beats are hitting, and the dialogue is hitting, and the death scenes are great, and there's all this like distrust and tension. The tension is high and everything is like coming together great, right? And I'm scrolling, and after I get like right after season 1, I finished season 1, and then season 2 starts. I got like 2 episodes into season 2, and fucking Webtoons is like, yeah, you're done. And I was like, whoa, ladies and gentlemen, like I'm not done. It's fucking 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm wide awake. I'm terrified. I want more. And it's like, you got to pay $6. And I'm like, well, fuck you. I'll pay that $6, baby. I pay the $6. I fucking put my PayPal info in, and it's like, all right, you unlock the rest of it. And I keep reading. And then I got sleepy, and I closed the tablet, went to bed, and had nightmares. And like, this is a new comic experience for me. Like, I'm not used to it. And we're not even here to talk about Webtoons. We're here to talk about his Kickstarter. But like, you know, he has this huge audience, and he's bringing this audience into a printed format, right? And he's like, hey, like I'll give you these comics in a new way, and like it's mind-boggling, Garth, like how scary and uncomfortable you make me, but the need to keep scrolling, the need to stay within the horror and freak myself out, like how does that, where do you draft these ideas, where do you come up with this, man? Because you, like, I couldn't stop. It was me. Okay, this was like me being a bouncer like 4 or 5 years ago, when there's like a fucking pile of cocaine on my boss's fucking cabinet, or not cabinet, but like on his counter in his kitchen. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. I should have gone home a long time ago, but I can't, right? Because we're fucking being dumb. And your comic is horror cocaine, and it's, my face is numb and I'm drooling and I got snot in my mustache and my beard and I can't stop. Like, how do you make that happen, dude? Like, I read a lot of horror. I love scary movies. I have not experienced anything like what you put me through with Witch Creek Road, and Skinned issue 1 even amplifies the discomfort, and you walk a line in Skinned where like a lot of people would get mad at you, I feel like, right? Like you're not allowed to do these things anymore in this day and age, and you say, fuck you, I'm gonna do it, and it works. Oh my god, it works, man. Like, tell us your fucking secrets, dude. Like, just pour it out. Like, how's it happen? Because you have another level of horror going on that a lot of people don't.
You go, Garth, I'm gonna get you to talk right after I ramble for the next hour and a
let me talk for 25 minutes.
Joining us.
Yeah, I'm just like, if I keep my mouth shut, he'll do it all for me.
Nope, I won't. I'll.
Yeah, I don't like. I'm like obsessed with horror movies. So, Witch Creek Road was basically born from me watching way too many horror movies, and then writing a story about all the stuff I wished that had happened that didn't quite happen. So webtoons, definitely, like you can read basically the whole thing for free. You just have to do the, you know, like you
have to wait though. You have
day.
to wait like 20, or like after you read a certain amount of issues, you have to wait for it to like refresh.
Yeah.
Or you're a fucking needy little freak like I am. You got to pay the $6.
Yeah, but you can read it for free if you want, or like for. So this one,
bust out the hardcover.
Yeah, that one's Witch Creek Road. So this was the first season.
God, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So there's the artwork. I work with like an amazing artist. He's just really good. That's Sarah there. Anyway, you can get the PDF as an add-on with a current project, and it's like $6 Canadian. So you're looking at about, like, it's 200 pages for $6 Canadian. So that's like $4 or $5 American.
Is that just season 1, or is it $6 for like all the seasons?
No, it's season 1.
Okay.
So the Kickstarter is for the main story of season 2. So season 1, the general storyline is a bunch of high school kids go out to party in the woods, but they take a wrong turn, get lost, and end up somewhere where they don't want to be. Season 2, you do not need to know anything about season 1. It's a completely different story, different characters. It's set in the same kind of like universe, but it is a separate story, so you don't need to have read season 1 in order to enjoy season 2. Season 2 kind of, it follows two sisters. One of them witnesses her boyfriend get like murdered and skinned alive in front of her by an urban legend named Skinned Tom. The problem is sometimes when Skinned Tom kills someone, his victims don't stay dead. So her boyfriend comes back kind of like wants to finish what they had started and goes to find this girl. And then she and her sister, when they survive the ordeal, they each react in different ways. Like they both start going mad, but they're different paths or different, like they both descend into madness differently. So the storyline, it's 4 issues. This goes up to issue 3, and it kind of follows their descent into madness.
All right. I love the descent into madness. And real quick, we got a commenter talking about how, as a huge scaredy cat, I'm just gonna stop reading now. But you should buy this comic and just let it terrify you, because it's an invigorating. It's like when you gargle Listerine, right, and it starts to burn your mouth. That's what Witch Creek Road is like. It's like, I know, like, I'm making my teeth look better, but like everything burns and it's freaking me out, and I don't know what to do. And I'm looking in the mirror and like I'm gargling this shit, and it's just it's this really strong. There's a lot of normalcy in your narrative, right? High schoolers wanting to party. Everybody wants to fuck, right? Like everybody wants to fucking party and fuck, and that's our goal, and that's a good goal, right? It's not a bad goal, right? Like who doesn't want to party and fuck? But what if like all this terrible shit starts happening afterwards? And like, how did you build that from this narrative of these 80s fun, like running through the woods, Jason with a fucking machete, everybody who fucks gets murdered, and you took it to like a different level. So like your love for horror, and the mythos and the history of the genre, and you made that work for you in different ways, in a fearless, and you like weren't worried about it. You just like let it happen. Like how'd you get there? Like, just tell me your secrets. Tell me how to be a profound horror writer, Garth. Like, that's, I just want to, like, teach me how to steal your ideas to do something cool. But you've done stuff that we've seen it before in other movies and stories, and like saying a name in a mirror 5 times, right? Like a lot of people have kind of revamped that. Like the new Candyman refreshed that aspect and took us along on a new ride. And you do that very much in Witch Creek Road with like the horny high schooler trope. And so like how did you make that your own? And was it hard? Like, did it happen naturally, or was this like some painstaking nights where you're like drinking whiskey and like sweating over the keyboard? Like, how do I do this? I'm curious, because you really do have something wonderful here, and I just want to know how it happened.
So like the general process was step 1, I moved to Japan. Step 2, I would have weekends where I had like nothing to do, so I would rent a whole bunch of horror movies from Tsutaya, get some frozen pizza, and just like binge watch horror movies. And then as I watched them, I would think like, I wish that would happen, or like I wish that had happened instead. And so like when I first started writing it, it was definitely more of a cheesy B horror, like a lot more comedy. But then as I revised it, the comedy kind of like got taken out. There's still some, I feel like, comic elements to it, but it became less and just focused more on probably like the horror element.
Okay. Do you still live in Japan?
No. I lived there.
I was like, I know our time zones are a little different, but they're not that like crazy.
Yeah. No, I'm Vancouver now, but like I lived there for
Okay.
6.5 years and really enjoyed it.
So are you a big like manga? Like are you into like manga horror, like Junji Ito? Like that's all I can say. I'm really into Junji Ito. I don't know a lot of other manga horror stuff that's happening. I'm not super smart in that field yet, But like, was that kind of an influence too, or were you more into the movies, like the cinematic appeal to it?
Definitely the movies. Like I've read Junji Ito since, but I didn't start reading him until after I came back to Canada.
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. All right, so with Skinned, with this new issue, well, it's not new. It's you're re-releasing it. What made you want to change formats? Because you have had a lot of luck with webtoons and web comics, and you've built a massive audience there. I see the people leave you reviews. Like you can when you go to, like, if anybody was listening to this and went to webtoons after they watched the show and they look at it, like there's like the numbers on your web comic are astronomical. What made you want to be like, what made you want to go to print, and what made you want to go to print at this moment in your story?
So with webtoons, we actually, Keenan is the artist. We started creating the comic as a print comic, and we kickstarted the first 2 issues of season 1. And the problem was, like, so Frank had mentioned that he read like The Living Finger, which was the first thing I did. And the problem was, like, when no one knows who you are, like no one buys what you do because they have no idea who you are. And so I kind of like operated under the misassumption that I needed to get it printed and distributed through Diamond, and so like I wanted an actual publisher and stuff like that. And so I went through like an indie publisher, Darby Pop, which, like, I liked Darby Pop. They were the first one I submitted to. They turned it down, submitted to some other people, went back to Darby Pop, and they eventually published it because they could see that I was serious about finishing it. But yeah, like no one bought it because no one knew who I was. So when Keenan and I started Witch Creek Road, I wanted to go the opposite route, where it was like kickstarting the single issues and then putting it online, like on Webtoons, because I just wanted people to read it. I had no idea what Webtoons was when I started doing it, so I didn't know that you could become a featured comic, that they would pay you to do it. And so we did the first 2 issues, and between the second and the third Kickstarters, they contacted us to be like, hey, do you want to be a featured comic? And we went that route just to build the audience. And now that it's kind of like over on Webtoons, we can start publishing the physical copies. But contractually, we couldn't print for a year and a half from when it was on Webtoons. So we had to wait a little bit, and that was kind of like why we put off publishing.
Okay. So how does Webtoons work? Because like I mentioned, like, you know, when I initially like fell into Webtoons, I checked some stuff out here and there, and it felt like everything was for free, right? Until like when I was really into yours, and after 12 issues or so, it was like, fuck you, pay me. And I was like, I was at a point where it was like, it was like a knife to my throat. It was either like stop experiencing this or fucking put your credit card info in, right? And I was like yes, like take my money, like I need more of this. And so is that kind of how Webtoons works? Like, because I noticed, so I paid $6 and bought like a pass sort of kind of thing. And then of course, like I read like 2 more issues and fell asleep, and then woke up the next day and it was like, hey, your thing refreshed. And I was like, great. But no, I mean, is that kind of how like Webtoons works? So it's like if you can lure people in, like you brought me into it, it you know, gives you an opportunity to kind of make some money from people.
Yeah. So like the way Webtoons works is, so first of all, like in terms of Webtoons audiences, Witch Creek Road is actually pretty small for their featured comics. Like we're small potatoes compared to some of these like really popular comics. So we got paid per episode, and then we would also get bonuses if like more people read it, just from like ad revenue.
Okay.
And there were also fast pass. So like you could read the current, because it would publish every week. So you could read like that week's new comic, but then you could also read ahead for up to 3 episodes.
Okay.
And those you would use coins for.
Okay.
So
Garth, real. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna Russell's got to bounce out a little early, so we're gonna come back to you. I promise.
No worries.
And I will continue to sing your praises. But we gotta get to Russell and Ichabod Jones before he can bounce out tonight. Russell, I'm sorry about that, bud.
I thought it was Ignacio. Have I been lied to this whole evening?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
My whole deal on Blake's Buzz Live is a lie. Like my name's not even Blake. My name's Shane. Like that's what you guys don't realize. But yeah, Russell. So real like again. Sorry. I was saving you for last, man. I was trying to do you a favor, and I ended up fucking everything up.
I know. I appreciate it, man. I do. I'm fine. I know I like to listen to you ramble all night, but like, had I realized, I'd have been like, I can't have surgery tomorrow. I gotta be on Blake's show until 4 in the morning.
Yeah, I told my doctor to fuck off. No, but so yes. So this is. All right. Oh, I almost said Ignacio. Ichabod Jones. Why did I do that earlier? Like, Ichabod Jones, Monster Hunter, Volume 4 is out, and this is like your baby, right? Like this is
This has been 12 years of my life.
12
years. Yeah.
And you've had Volume 4 done like for a while.
We've had it done since 2019, so I've literally just been waiting. No, not 2019, 2020, like the end of middle of 2021. No, yeah, it was like June of 2021. We've had it done, but we just had to like play out how publishing works. You sometimes don't get like the book done. The book comes out later than you thought. I wanted to have like a longer lead time because between 2 and 3 was only 6 months. So I was like, how can I put it in my publishing slate? I publish a lot of books. So like it just ends up being like this was the first chance that I had to publish it, and I really wanted this one to be like my birthday book for this year. I always try and release a birthday book, and like ending probably the most consequential project of my life felt like I needed to like really do it up. So this is the 4th volume. It's printed. It's already printed and heading to my door. So like you've got 4 volumes.
Some great hardcovers here, man.
Thank you. Yeah, they're all, if you scroll down a little bit more, you can see they're all title locked. They're all like cover locked. Like they're all like they're all meant to be read as one big thing. I have a kind of a snob about hardcovers, so I wanted to do all of our hardcovers come with ribbons, and they're all so bound in, and it can be laid flat, and
yeah, look at that. Look at that. Ooh, the spine game is good. Like everything is uniform.
Yeah, when I started doing series, I was like, I have to be a stickler for this because as long as this is one series, I have to be right. I have to make it be right for every book that comes after it. So yeah, I'm quite a stickler for it, and frankly, I just think Ichabod deserves it. It's a really special book. Of all the books that I've ever done, like I have no fandom like Ichabod that's quite as diehard, that's quite as like vocal, that like literally brought Ichabod back from the dead. Like in every way, is Ichabod was about to go out of print, and my fans were so upset that they would never get the resolution that we funded a single issue for $16,000 so that I could reprint volume 1 and start a second volume. And so yeah, I mean it's a really magical book, and unlike like it's kind of, I don't know. I don't want to say the opposite of Witch Creek Row, but Witch Creek Row is very popular and Ichabod is very niche. So it's like in that way, like most, like the people that love it, like desperately love this book, but it's not the kind of book that's going to be selling like 25 million copies. And I know that. And the fact that it's even gotten this far is kind of incredible to me.
See, that's crazy to me though, because it, like I see your following and I see your other Kickstarter campaigns, and Like you're hustling, you're doing it, but your numbers support that too. It's not just, you didn't just like luck out and drop a Kickstarter at the right time. Like you have a really good following.
Well, I feel like the reason that I have a pretty large following, and the reason why this book sells at all, is because a very, very small percent of that following really love this book. Um, uh, so like most of them are there for Cthulhu or one of my other projects, but like the people that grok this book are like, they are my diehard ride or die. It is the most predictive of whether you'll like the rest of my work. So.
I mean, Cthulhu was dope, but Ichabod is my personal favorite. From what like you've shared with me and that I've read, this is what I am like. I'm wildly impressed by it. Also, shout out to David Hazan. Thank you for bringing some Nottingham hype into the chat. Thanks for always tuning in. But yeah, like Ichabod, I also love it because like I was raised Catholic, right? And I'm very much not Catholic anymore. Obviously, if anybody's listened to me talk any amount of time,
do a lot of cocaine in the Catholic Church.
Oh well, they love cocaine. They love cocaine and altar boys. That's all it is about. Just kidding. Sorry. But no, it's it's very. It's funny because I remember like Russell. I'm sorry, I know you gotta go. Like I remember one time my dad was the maintenance man at my Catholic school, and I remember like helping him one time, and I spilt the communion wine, and I was like so scared I was gonna like go to hell because I fucking spilt this fucking like it's boxed wine. It was boxed Franzia wine that like was blessed and turned into the blood of Christ, right? And I was like, I spilt it, dude. I thought the devil was gonna come for me. And now I'm smarter, and well, I'm not smarter, but I just realize what's fiction and what isn't. But this sang to me because I love how it's there's this darkness, right? And it's like it's beckoning for murder, and it's taking our protagonist into these places that are uncomfortable and scary. And then later we find out these are fucking angels, right? And these are angels trying to like win against the apocalypse in an impossible way. And I love that courageousness of like you taking this religion and making it your own and saying like it is a story and I'm going to tell the story better.
Well, so I always feared that religious groups would really hate Katrina and Ichabod, and I don't know. I always had this vision of them like protesting outside some convention or something because those books are very blasphemous, or that's what I thought. And what I have since heard talking to many religious people and ex-religious people is what they appreciated is like it's clearly a human who is struggling with their faith on every page. And I used to wear a cross. My dad almost went to minor seminary. Like I got confirmed. So I've done I've read like every religious book that I can find for my whole life, and trying to like sort through all of that muck is kind of what the basis of all of my work is. And it's been very kind of gratifying to, I don't want to say I've been embraced by churches because that's not true, but like, to have religious people, my father and mother among them, say like, this is not like mocking our faith, because that's what I always feared, that people would think that it was mocking their faith. And it's more.
I think faith mocks our life, but that's a whole different. Like, I know you're in a hurry, so we can't really get into that right now. But just. I don't think your narrative has to worry about that at all.
Well, I've just been appreciating that. Like, I think it's about this like person who's searching for his place in the universe with Ichabod, and his this very small way he is trying to redeem himself and become a hero. And I think we all can kind of relate to that. Like, we all are trying to take control of our own narrative, and we probably are not quite as bloody and messy as Ichabod is, but I tried to take a lot of the horror elements and fantasy elements and make it about this story about redemption, where we can see this very broken, flawed man who becomes a hero, not despite of his flaws, but because of them. And I've always kind of felt that was a message that I really resonated with, was just like, you know, you always been told that, you know, that like you should work through your flaws and like, you know, work to improve yourself. But like sometimes like those things that you think are broken about you, or that like you think like ostracize you, like are really like the things that make you the hero that you are, that make you the writer that you are, that make you the podcaster that you are. And it's a much more messy narrative that Ichabod is, that like tells that story. But I do think underneath what the last 3 volumes of the book have been is me kind of throwing a line back to my person in 2010, because I took an 8-year gap between 2010 and 2011 and 2019, where we brought the book back. So like I can literally look back at that person and be like, what does that person need to hear, and pull them along into like the rest of the story. And I was really scared because the book is very, very much leans into the horror elements in the first volume and leans into the fantasy elements in the last 3 volumes, that people wouldn't get it or wouldn't follow me. And while there has been like a decrease every volume, certainly from people just like realizing this is not the thing that they thought it was at the beginning, it's been really heartfelt to hear people still say how much they love the 2nd volume and the 3rd volume, and how much it's still their favorite comic. And this book is so weird. Like, it's hard for me to believe still that like this is somebody's favorite comic, but like it's also very gratifying to know that you can make something that is true to your vision, true to yourself, and like people will resonate with it. You may have to find them. You may have to not be like, it may be very hard to find those people, but like there are people that are going to resonate with that message.
My buddy always tells me that I'm a shitty reviewer, and I've known this guy since kindergarten, so he's allowed to like tell me this. But he's like, you like everything. Like he's like everything you come across, you like and you're excited about, and he's like, you know, he's like, how do you manage that? Like you can't love everything, you can't promote everything. And he's like, I feel like but you do. And I'm like, I don't. Like, I don't talk about the shit that I'm not a big fan of, right? Because I would rather, I think not covering something says enough. I don't have to come out and say, you know what, this was a dog shit narrative and it lost itself and it's convoluted and the dialogue didn't, you know, I don't want to do that. I don't want to, I make the joke all the time where it's like, you know, the comic books, it's someone's baby, right? I don't want to shit on someone's baby. No one wants to shit on babies, right?
Yeah,
that's not a thing.
It's a really ugly baby.
Yeah.
Have you stopped to ask yourself,
but even if it's an ugly baby, it's going to be way uglier with shit on it.
It's
right.
true.
And I'm not trying to make this baby uglier, but like Russell, your comic sang to me, right, in a very odd tune, just like Garth, right, where it's like, it, you know, like I'm uncomfortable, but I'm also very comfortable, and I also, you know, each of these arcs is about 90 pages or so, right? So like let's like a 4-issue trade, okay, and when you start a trade, you can't finish it. Or I'm sorry, you can't. Wow, fuck that up. When you start a trade, you can't not finish it. It's once you start on that path, like you are compelled. I am ramshackled with the chains of chaos, and I am dragged through this narrative, whether I wanted to stop or not. And there's no downside. There's no slow point. It's, you know, once it rolls, it fucking rolls, and it snowballs down that mountain, right? And it gets bigger and bigger, and the tension gets tighter and tighter, and you can't stop. And regardless of my religious background, even though like I love what you're doing, right? And I love that play, that like making religion fiction, because I think, sorry if I offend anybody, I think religion is a lot of fiction. And like when you have the fucking guts to make that story your own, which is like you got to have a lot of guts, man. Like when especially when you're like crowdfunding it, like when you're just fucking dropping this narrative into the chaos of crowdfunding, and you're like, please read this, please back this, please buy it, and you're doing that, and you've done that with numerous IPs and entities, whatever you want to call them, but with Ichabod specifically, like this is your fourth and final episode, and you've every single one, 2, 3, and 4 has both brought your audience that has followed you and brings new readers, because I look at your Kickstarters, man, and your audience has grown. Like you look at your followers on social media, like you have a large following, like people are into your fucking stories. And is it ever like scary to you, or were you ever like, ooh shit, I don't know if I should do this, or did you just kind of let yourself go and believe in yourself the whole way?
Well, I think when success came for me, I was already so far. Like I had completed 2 new books, so I was like, well, I'm done with this thing. Like I have to play the hand now and just hope that it's that, like we did Monsters and Other Scary Shit, I had Pixie Dust already done, and I was like, well, I'm not going to change positions now because I just spent 10 grand on this book. And then we were working so hard on the second volume that became Cthulhu is Hard to Spell, that like really like catapulted it another level up, that I had never stopped to think about it. And then it happened, and I was like, oh, maybe I should do more planning. Which is where we came back to Ichabod, actually. That's one of the reasons we came back to Ichabod in 2019, because the people who love Cthulhu and the monster book really love Ichabod, and that's the main reason that it sold more. So I don't know. I think I was just too far down the rabbit hole by the time the success came, and I've been doing this as like a grinder for so long. I still consider myself a grinder, just like you make the next book, and the next book is going to make some money, and then the book after that makes some money, and then you just kind of are putting your like the next foot in front of the other. And I've done that so long that it's not until like I'm on sabbatical right now. I've been on sabbatical for about 2 months now from writing. And like, it wasn't until
so you came on my show.
Yeah.
you're like, I'm taking it easy. I'm gonna go on the buzz.
Well, do that and get surgery. Like those are the 2 things that were on my agenda for my sabbatical.
Are you gonna get like a root canal after that? It's like Blake's buzz, surgery, then root canal. Like I feel like that's like the 3.
It's the totally trifecta, man. It's the trifecta.
That's the Trinity, baby.
But yeah, I mean, it's really, honestly and truly, like, it's not until like 2 weeks ago or 2 months ago or whenever it was that I sat back and was like, oh shit, like I really built something here, huh? Like it's been a thing. I don't know. Maybe Garth felt this. I don't know if Garth felt this way, but for me, I was like, it wasn't until I stopped doing the thing so much on a regular basis that I was able to appreciate the thing that had been built.
Are you gonna miss it? Are you gonna like now that it's done, like? Are you gonna and again, I apologize. I did not read volume 4, so I'm an ignorant bad host. But like, did you leave yourself in a place where you could come back for more, or is this an end? And
I will say
done?
that when I came up with the idea for Ichabod, and that's definitely when we were coming back, I flushed this out. Ichabod, the 4th volume of Ichabod ends the exact way that I always thought Ichabod would end, and so. To me, it is an end. There is a potential for like maybe a beginning again in another thing or another form. But like, to me, the story of Ichabod Jones Monster Hunter is over. And like, that is it. Like there's no more apocalypse story in like the Ichabod Jones universe. Like I've told that world during that time. And if I say more, I'm going to spoil it. But like, I will say that you so rarely, as a creator, get a chance to end things on your terms. I've been very lucky to do that with this year 3 times. This is the 3rd time I've done it. The second time with Cthulhu, first time with Cthulhu, then with Gods vs. Chronicles, and now with Ichabod Jones, able to actually end something the way that you always wanted to end it.
I'm both happy for you and like legit saddened. I dug when you were last on the show was the last issue of Cthulhu Was Hard to Spell, and I thought that was great. And audio, like I don't know if our listeners know, we kind of talked about this last time, but someone was being a dick to you online, and I popped in and I was like, why being an asshole? And that's how you and I connected.
Yeah.
And you were like, hey Blake, can I come on your show sometime? And I was like, duh, you can. And but you know, like I was like, someone thought you like stole this idea from them, which was like totally different. It was weird. And I was, anyways, long story, I dug Cthulhu, but like I really connected with your writing style with Ichabod, and here's why. Like I love anthologies, and I'm a big fan of them, and anthologies are hot on Kickstarter right now. But it was really cool to just get all Russell all the time, and you had the same artist, and so it was like you and this team, and you were there for the 16 issues, right? And you took us on this fucking ride, man, and it was a great ride. And it was just cool to just stay with you, right, and not be interrupted, like with Cthulhu. Like when you have other wonderfully talented folks that are also telling great stories, but like this was just you, this was your baby, this was you, like dealing with faith, dealing with death, dealing with like what happens to humans after, right? Like that thing that like none of us really know, like and we think we know, right? Like, oh, I do believe in this, or I don't believe in this, but at the end of the day, man, like when our bodies quit, like none of us really know what's gonna happen, right? And that's how I felt like you were like tackling all these different elements in Ichabod, while also like building up a great protagonist, taking us through the end of the world, you know, angels and demons and love and you know sexual interests and stuff. Like you had a lot to say, and it was really cool to stay by your side in that narrative, and not be interrupted. And I think you did that really well. And I'm really excited for like I really hope a lot of people experience Ichabod, and I'm excited for your readers that know you and like, you know, get to end the story. But I'm also excited for like new people that like me, get to take this journey. And that's what it is, man. It's not just a comic, it's a fucking journey. And you did that. You took us on this, and you taught us lessons, and you made us think about life in different ways. And like, I don't want to fucking like kiss your ass too hard, but you did it well, and you did a really good fucking job, man. I'm really excited that like your story is ending, and I'm sad that it's ending, right? Like that's when you're a fan of a creator, like, you know, it says a lot when you're done, and like we feel that. You know, like there's this newfound emptiness in my life because you just decided to end your story. You know, but that's how I feel about Ichabod.
Well, it really means, honestly and truly, it really means a lot to me that you said that, because that is what we try to do with Ichabod: tell a very entertaining story, but also deal with all of those heady concepts over and over again, and try and make a statement in the world. And a lot of people like don't want the statement, so like they just go and read with some other comic, and that's okay. But like other people do, and I think if like it permeates the Gods vs. Chronicles too, but I think Ichabod is just like the rawest interpretation, because it was the first thing I ever did, and when I came back to it, like I had to mimic the style, so I had to continue, even though my style has refined over the years. I had to like really go back to this like very raw, visceral style to keep it faithful for people in the future. So it was really cathartic to be able to just be like, I'm gonna just brutalize this monster, because like it represents something, and to be able to go to have that freedom in a world where like most of my other books are nowhere near that viscerally violent or just visceral at all, and then be able to come and like have a moment where like these characters are dealing with their faith and like whether they should trust the angels or the demons or themselves, and to pit everyone against each other in a world where you just like the truth seems to be a moving target even among the people that are good and the people that are bad, and like that there's no like the objective truth of it is like they're all just kind of some big shade of gray was always my big overarching plan. And to know that it connected with you, like it really means a lot to me, honestly, because it's a real weird book. Like,
no, it's super fucking weird. But I'm a fucking weirdo. You guys, a lot of you guys have talked to me multiple times now. I'm a fucking weirdo, but I'm also easy to please. Not to say that like I'll just fucking eat up and pay for any dog shit comic. Like I have standards. People may not believe that, but I don't know, man. It's hard. I get all. The longer the show goes on, I have a harder time explaining myself. But I really do. I think that. Well, I mean, obviously, just with your background, like you know how to tell stories and you know how to retain an audience. If you didn't, you wouldn't be where you are right now. I mean, you can look at your backers, you can look at your followers, you can look at everything that you've done, even your Kickstarter. Like you're running a Kickstarter for Ichabod, but you could back Ichabod and not even buy Ichabod. You could back you could just use this time to back one of your other narratives that you've written. That to me is extraordinary. When you're that fucking cocky, when you've got the secular fortitude to just be like, yeah, I got this new comic book out, but like, I mean, even if you don't want to buy it, you don't have to. You can buy one of these other comics I wrote. I think that's rad, and I like that this. I like that crowdfunding gives you that. It gives you that platform, right? I wrote all these different things. You can follow this. You can follow this. You can follow this. I'm here for you, and your audience is here for you as well. And I just all of you guys, like Frank drops fucking Kickstarters like several times a year, and it's crazy to me that like there are so many Kickstarters out there right now. There's a lot of great talent, right? And there's so much stuff that's like not even done, which kind of boggles my mind and irritates me simultaneously, right? Because it's like, okay, cool, like I'll give you a chance, and then you drop another Kickstarter, except this time it's on Zoop, and I still don't have your other Kickstarter, and now like, yeah, this Zoop campaign sounds cool, and then like, oh, then now you're on Crowdfunder too. There's all these people that are kind of bouncing around through platforms, right, with different ideas. And I support that, and I back a lot of them. All right, so I'm not trying to be a prick. Like I've given these people money, but like you have this whole deal, this whole universe, and none of it's interconnected, right? It's not like the fucking MCU. It's not like we have like fucking 19 books that are all interconnected in weird ways. But you've found this way to tell all the stories you can. And you tell them, and you have different campaigns, and you fulfill them, and you have fulfilled them. I don't know, man. You're kind of mind blowing. Like I'm sorry. Like I'm sorry that I'm telling you that you're mind blowing and talented. I'm really sorry I'm telling you all these weird things, but it's shocking to me to like watch your career through crowdfunding. Because I feel like you have luck similar to people that like get like contractual deals. Like you're just you just have that you have that ability, and you have the faith in the audience has the faith in you, and so just like we've talked to Garth about the webtoons backing, or like Frank does like 35 fucking Kickstarters a year, and then they ship like 2 weeks later. Like I don't know how you guys do it. It's fucking crazy. Mick draws really pretty girls.
But, I mean, listen, of everything you just said, that is by far the easiest thing. Drawing the pretty girls, like, I could do that all day. Waiting for books to come in, books backed up and shipped out, that takes forever.
But so it like, is it hard, man? Like Russell,
to draw pretty girls? No, it's
anyone
can do it.
You do that easily. Like your art is always sexy. Even your fucking aliens with their big flinging dongs flopping around on Mars. Like I'm not a big dong flapping guy, but fucking Mick makes me a dong flapping guy. I don't know, man. But like Russell, you have so much in your backlog, and how do you do it? How do you manage it? How do you separate projects and give them the right amount of love and
well, so I always say that a lot of them don't get the right amount of love, like right off the bat. Like some things just have to fall off of you. They don't get a chance. The longer series definitely take more of my time and get more of my love than the one-offs that I do, even though some of the one-offs I've done I love more than the series, frankly. But I think you're this is my full-time job for one. So like that gives me, and I have no kids for two. So that's like 12 more hours every day than like most people get.
Nice.
So I, and
not
then,
like nice, like good for you. Like, no, I mean like, but that's cool. Sorry.
Well, I just want to be
like
somebody that has like Frank, who has like, I don't know, 100 kids, 300 kids,
like
700
Frank,
kids.
Feels
I don't know,
like
Frank, who just fucking folds laundry and flaunts his fucking children in front of our wonderful kickstarting shows when we're
But
I saw kids tonight, Frank. I don't even think you have kids. I think it was a lie. I think it was a facade.
I definitely don't think that. But I mean, when you have like no job and you have no kids, like you just have more time. So like you shouldn't, productively wise, even be like measuring someone who has any of those things, or like a sick mother or someone they have to take care of, or like a cancer or something. Like you just can't. There's just more things, less time in the day for you to do the thing. Yeah. But like, I think it comes down to consistency. Just like I get up every day and I do the words. I do and I try and do more words than I did the last year, and find out what like the maximum amount of words that allow me to keep going. And then it stacks, man. Like 2017 to now, I've written something like 40 novels, and I think
nuts.
But I think like, okay, so you say you've done 20 of these so far. Like you could do, like in 2 years, you'll have done 200 of them, almost 120 of them, 130 of them.
I don't like that.
And you're like, how did you
exhausting.
do? But you'll look back when you do it and say, oh, how did I do that? Well, I got up every Wednesday and I did the show. And over time,
I woke up on Wednesdays and drank a bottle of whiskey and talked to talented people. My life is hard.
Yeah, exactly. But like, you will say that. And I can tell you, because I had a podcast that lasted 200 episodes. And when I got done with it, I was like, how did I do that? And it ended up being, you just get up and you do the one interview. And then the next year, the next week you do the other interview, and eventually you look back at it.
Finally, you just tell everyone to fuck off, and you're like, I'm gonna do my own stories.
Yeah. Well, sure.
That's where I'm trying to get. I want to tell all you guys to fuck off and do my own stories.
You should do that.
I'm just kidding. I actually want to do both. I want to like continue to my end game goal, like I said, is to steal every wonderful idea and from Kevin and Will from Explain Yourself, and both of them have their own comics, and they they help the crowdfunding scene while also simultaneously like doing their own books and stuff. Like that's my goal. But anyways, like regardless,
I would say 1 page a day, Blake. You do just write 1 page a day or edit 1 page a day, and over the course of a month, you've got 30 pages.
You have something.
Over the course of a year, you've got a book. I don't know, like.
Because you do a lot of prose too, like your whole back. He's got, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you can see behind him. His whole deal behind him. That's everything he's done, right?
That's out.
Basically
or
everything
coming out.
Okay.
Most of what I've done.
All right. Well,
but yes, I've written over 40 novels as well as all of the comics that I do.
God, fuck you, man. Get out of here. You're done. You're done.
I'm on that.
Go
on
get
that
ready
note,
for your surgery.
I'm
Sweet
taking
dreams.
off.
Yeah.
All right, Frank, real quick, before you leave, I know Russell and Frank, you got places to go. Frank, and real quick, tell us where to find you, where to follow you.
This thing. Twitter and Instagram at Frank the Writer. I'm simple. Am I the only one on the East Coast?
I don't know. Where are you? I don't know.
I'm in New York, so I'm in tomorrow.
I'm in New York.
Yeah.
My pizza's better than everybody's.
I'm in the future right now because it's Thursday.
It's tomorrow.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely not tomorrow here.
All right. No, everybody. Frank the writer. Frank is a fucking great writer. He's a solid gem of a man. He could stay up a little later. That'd be great. Whatever. Let's go. Everybody.
Greetings from the future.
Last homicide, back issue 2, and if you haven't gotten the first one, you can get that double issue, double stacked, sexy edition. It's there for you.
Great talking to all you fellas. Blake, thanks for having me on.
Dude, anytime.
Nice
You'll be on next week when you launch the next Kickstarter.
Yeah.
I joke, but it was gonna be like 2 weeks.
October, okay?
All right,
2
cool.
months.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Chill.
My birthday's October 27th. If you want to drop a Kickstarter on my birthday, we'll do a special birthday episode. You got to stay up late though. You got to stay. No laundry, no kids. We're gonna do a bunch of blow and a bunch of whiskey.
What?
I'm
You said
kind of hoping I can catch a launch.
if you FedEx me an 8-ball, that would help a lot.
Oh, cool. We'll do that.
When you
We'll
do
do
your
that.
t-shirts,
I'll crowdfund that. I'll be.
Crowdfund, get Frank some bloated to
Frank
stay
and Blake need cocaine, ladies and gentlemen. This show doesn't fund itself. I kid. Drugs are bad unless you do them and they feel great. I'm just joking, but everybody, like, for real, Frank, I love you. Last Homicide is amazing. You're doing well. You're gonna fund. You always fucking fund. No one needs to help you, but you should back his campaign. And Russell.
Yes.
Russell,
Before I get out of here, I want to say, like, I absolutely love Frank's work. Him and Garth are 2 of the only 4 writers that have ever truly made me feel horror in comics. Sorry, Mick, I don't know your work. It looks lovely, but I've not read your work.
he doesn't. He's not a big horror
horror,
guy.
I did one horror series and it wasn't great. It's not a genre I'm committed. For me, if a horror movie doesn't have Bela Lugosi, Boris Karloff, Vincent Price, Peter Lorre, then I'm not interested.
Sure, but I do know Garth's work is friggin' phenomenal, and I do know Frank's work is friggin' phenomenal. So
All your guys' work is fucking phenomenal. I
can say Mick's art is phenomenal, and
Yeah.
the little bit I read was phenomenal. But I will go to the mattresses for either Garth or Frank's stuff because it's frigging, it's so good. Like when Witch
like
Creek
to
Road
think-
ended,
I know.
and I feel like it just ended one day, and it was not like I had no warning that it was just one day it just clicked over to now it's complete, and I was like, I'm not emotionally ready for this book to be over. And I'm never ready for Frank's work to be over either but he's always so quick that anyway.
He's super quick. Russell,
Yes, go to this link.
tell us where.
This
Tell
link-
us where to find you, baby.
This is the link for the Kickstarter. It's Ichabod Jones Monster Hunter. You can pick up books 1 to 4. You can pick up all of our books. You can pick up Make Your Own Bundle. We have a bunch of hardcovers that are available. I really love it. It's about a psychopath that escapes a mental asylum and becomes a monster hunter and doesn't know if he's killing monstrous humans or it's all in his head the whole time. So we really do like, if you like the mind fuckery of, I don't know, like Garth's work or Frank's work, like maybe you'll like this one too. And thank you so much, Blake, for having me on. It's great to hang out with Garth and Mick, and I'll see you guys soon.
Awesome. Hey, Russell, I hope everything goes well tomorrow. Not sure what you got going on, but I want a speedy recovery and much more books in the future. Just like
Thank you.
Anything I can get from you. Always welcome. always welcome back. And I also just kind of want you to think about making an omnibus later on down the road, maybe. Like I like the Kickstarter omnibuses, man. Like I think
I've
more
thought
people
about
need
it with
to
a
do
nice slipcase.
Yes,
Thought about it already.
yes. Oh,
I'm already there.
Oh, I'm getting excited. All right, man.
All right, man. All right.
Get out of here and take care, buddy.
All right, bye.
All right, Garth. Sorry, we had to interrupt you. Hold on. We got Charlie Stickney's in the chat talking about my dong comments. All right, that's cool. The dong flapping guy. Yes, I think everybody knows I love doing pull quotes. Mixed work isn't scary, but it's fucking solid. Look at that. Garth is terrifying. Charlie Stickney says you're terrifying, Garth.
Thanks.
Look at that. Look at that. But you are, man. And you know what's funny is you're so timid and you're so chill and you're so calm. And you know what? You know what aggravates me about you, Garth? I'm gonna tell you about it, even if you don't know. But you act like you're not a fun person to talk to. You pretend like you don't pretend, and I'm sure you think it, but you're like, oh, like I'm awkward, I'm not good at talking, and like, dude, you're a good interview. Like, I like how humble you are. I like that everybody's so excited about the stuff that you're creating, and you're kind of you're like, okay, sure, but you know, like you're not cocky, and you're so talented, and you're just very friendly. And just in the future, like when you do other projects, if you ever go on another show or anything like that, just really know, man, like you're very easy to talk to, and your work is very easy to get excited about. And so just like try not to stress for future appearances. Like you're a good guest to have. I just want you to know that.
Well, thank you.
And please send me the hardcover for your comic for free. No, I'm just kidding. I did want to ask though, because you have this cool hardcover that like, and I love how you talk about it too. And I know this is totally not what his Kickstarter is about, but you can get it as an add-on still, right? And so Garth always talks about he made this yearbook hardcover that like doesn't even have the title. Yeah, it's a fucking high school yearbook that does not have the title of the comic on the cover, which is so genius. But you got a dust jacket. You got a dust jacket to remind us.
Yeah.
But yeah, are you ever gonna maybe, because that's season 1 and there's 4 seasons, right?
The way we're doing it is with Webtoons, and like I'm gonna say I loved Webtoons. They take like good care of you, they compensate you. But because of the like publishing schedule, we had to produce things fairly quickly.
Okay.
And it caused us to use some guest artists, and it also caused some changes that made the story progress a little bit different, not a lot different, but by the time season 4 came around, there were things that I couldn't do that I wanted to do because of changes in like season 2 and that. Okay. So the publishing now is more just us doing director cut versions where we're kind of fixing the changes and putting it back to how like it was originally intended.
Yeah, I saw that in the new Kickstarter campaign. That's one of the stretch goals, right? Is you're going to have the original artist go back and redo an arc. Is that am I full of shit, or I swear to God, I remember reading that somewhere.
Yeah, 2000.
I do research my guests, ladies and gentlemen. I swear. I know it doesn't seem like that, but I try really hard, sort of hard. I give it an attempt.
Yeah. So 2023, we're going to be doing Kickstarters for like the Infested storyline.
Exciting.
Which was the storyline that had the guest artists. like I love the guest artists. They did a really good job, but it was always like I just really wanted to keep it me and Keenan. And so now we're going back and redoing the artwork, maybe adding in like a little bit of story and creating kind of like what it would have been originally if we had just had more time.
What's your favorite way of releasing a comic book? You, like I said, we've talked about already. You've had a lot of luck with well, actually both. You've had a lot of luck with Kickstarter and with Webtoons. Like, what's your comfort zone? Like, where do you like doing?
I think if you have the opportunity, you should try to do as much as you can. Like, I enjoy the physical printing, and I enjoy the digital web comic, and they're completely different audiences. So even though it's on Webtoons and a lot of people have read it, it's not necessarily the same audience that is on Kickstarter or going to the comic shops. And some of them are, like, there is definite overlap, but there's also enough people that don't overlap that you're missing out on an entire audience if you are only focusing on one or the other.
Yeah. What do you think, Mick? Because like Mick, I know you've done work with like Charlie and stuff, and
yeah, well, I've done a couple of Webtoons too. Like, I really enjoy the Webtoons format. Like, there's something freeing about not needing to worry about a page. Like, all I need to worry about is down. How do I draw the eye down? Is it with dialogue? Is it with the art? Is it with whatever? But it's like you're only going one direction, and it kind of frees you to think about your approach to story and what you can include. And like, because it's on, the internet, like, there's no space consideration. So it's like, you can let this moment breathe as long as you like. You can compress it as much as you would. Just like the physical act of scrolling is your timepiece. And like, it's a lot of fun to work with. None of the Webtoons I like have done have hit big, but I haven't stuck with them super long. It was mostly like, oh, here's an idea I want to experiment with. I'd like to do it in that scroll format instead.
I kind of like the scroll format. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I dig it. Like, I just recently, I think everybody knows this because I've been complaining about it for weeks, but I my tablet shorted out. And well,
like,
it didn't short out.
Something happened to your tablet, Blake? I hadn't heard.
Yeah.
The story.
So basically, what happened, the fucking glass was popping out of my tablet. I had this. First of all, never fucking buy a Chromebook. Okay, it's the cost is interesting, but like, and when I bought it, I wanted something. I was like, I can write on this. Like, when I bought it, I didn't know I was gonna fucking start podcasting and doing shit. Like, I didn't know I was gonna need to like do things with this tablet, and so like, but I read so much digitally now, and it sucks. Like, anybody who doesn't have a tablet, it's very hard to say like, yeah, digital comics are great, because like reading them on a laptop fucking sucks. It's not oriented right. And if you have a laptop and you turn it sideways, what do you do with this giant fucking keyboard? Like, it doesn't work. But if you have a nice tablet, digital comics all of a sudden turn into like a very interesting ordeal. And also, like with Garth, when you're reading horror comics on a digital tablet, you have a backlit screen. You can turn the fucking lights out in your room, and you can read these horror comics in the dark, and that changes fucking everything. You can like legit produce jump scares in a fucking horror comic when you're reading it digitally, as opposed to a regular comic where you need a lamp or a light, or you have to read it in the daytime. And again, like, I love both. Everybody knows I love omnibuses, I love hardcovers. But yeah, so anyways, I had to buy a new fucking tablet, and it's great, and I love it, and I just have to pay for it now, which is the shitty part.
But
yeah, but it makes this it's a new way to experience comics, which, like I said, like if you have a regular laptop, it doesn't work right. But yeah, anyways, whatever. That's just Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. You know,
And the nice thing about the scroll is that, like, you can play with timing by how much space is between panels, or like.
oh yeah,
And also, when you have the full page in a traditional comic, you can already see what's going to be coming up.
yeah.
But on a webcomic and you're scrolling up, you don't know as much of like what's coming, so you can maintain that suspense a lot better.
Yeah, it's kind of like guided view, right?
Yeah.
Like when you're reading like on Comixology or something, that like, or one of the apps that have the guided view, because that's a problem, right? Like when you're reading like Nailbiter. I loved the Nailbiter horror comic, right? But I read that in single issues. I was buying those like, you know, week to week, or not week to week, month to month, but you know, like you know, when you turn the page. When you turn the page, like you need to be looking left, but if there's a big splash panel on the right, your eyes go there. You can't stop it. It's just like boom, and you're like, oh shit, I got to read this page on the left first, and it kind of throws you off. Whereas like guided view keeps you in control and hides those outlying panels or the other splash page or anything. And yes, like with webtoons, that scrolling aspect totally kind of helps that as well. And I noticed, I've seen you like show your hardcover in different shows, and even recently, like you have to kind of reformat that, right? Like when you reprint it for.
Yeah, how does that process work? Because I've converted from comics to webtoons, from webtoons to comics. Like, it sucks either way.
Yeah, like we did it. Keenan would produce it as sequential art, and then I would cut it up into the webtoons format, and then do the lettering and that stuff.
Did you have to have him do like filler art to like smooth out the gaps as you converted it to webtoons, or could you find elements on the page to repeat and reuse or whatever?
Yeah, because I feel like you either have to do that, or you have like pages that have a lot more text bubbles and elements like that may hinder the art. So there's like a weird game you got to play.
Yeah. So season 1, webtoons had us add extra panels between some of the panels just for extra art, or like expanding the art because it was too like
it's widescreen, but it only works. Yeah.
But then as the seasons went on, we didn't have to do that as much. It was mostly season 1 where we had to redo.
When you got when you became a featured comic through webtoons and they were paying you, like, was there a level of like support, not just on like the technical side, but on like the art and formatting and conversion side too?
Well, you get not so much, like you get an editor, and then they'll help you like edit and also provide advice as to like, okay, you've got too much space between panels there, you want to like shorten that one up, or like bubble placement, things like that. But it's not a lot of technical support.
Yeah.
I mean, there might be, but
that's not what they were there for.
Yeah.
Are we gonna get more hardcovers later?
Yeah.
And do I get a discount for having you on my show? No, I'm kidding. But like, I mean, are you thinking of like re-releasing like other seasons? Because I mean, obviously you have an interest in print media because you've started digitally, and now you're doing these crowdfunding aspects. I love this idea of the hardcover. I love that you made this like fake yearbook that doesn't even, and I love that he even calls himself out on it. He talks about, when he talks about it, he's like, I don't know if it was the best idea to release the hardcover and not put the title of the comic on it, but I love that, man. Like, yeah, I love that your faith in your own terror, where you're like, guess what? I don't need a fucking title to scare you. You can fucking open this fake yearbook and I'm going to fucking traumatize you. And I'm going to give you fucking nightmares and you're going to like it. And Garth, I love that about you, man. I'm not going to bullshit you around. I think that's wildly sexy and intriguing. You're a wildly sexy and intriguing horror writer. Just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah.
Between the two of you, you have a full face of wildly intriguing and sexy faces.
Yeah, we have a full goatee.
Yeah, we combined. All right, guys, we've gone. We're almost at 2.5 hours, and I appreciate everybody hanging out. Like everybody else left us. We've gone too long. I want to make sure everybody knows where to find both of you, because I think both of you have great comic book ideas. And also, oh wait, side note, Garth, we'll start with you, because I just kind of wanted to ask what's going on. If you can like, I know I talked about how great his horror is, and we're coming into the fall, and Garth is just fucking awesome, and he's amazing, and he scares us and he traumatizes us. He's got a really cool sci-fi book out that came out a couple months ago. Ormus #1 was a great premiere issue, and I know you're probably going to be like, well, I can't talk about it yet, because that's what everybody says when I want to know about the future. But anything you can maybe let slip about the second issue of Ormus, because like that was really good too, man. Like,
Yeah, it's difficult, but like,
it's like, no, I can't tell you, goddamn.
I will
thing
say,
about
like, Ormus is kind of like the brainchild of Sun Kaminaki, and she's like an amazing artist.
yeah,
And like, I know her personally. Like, I can drive 2 hours and see her in person.
oh cool.
So with Ormus, she has like this epic story planned out. And so right now we're kind of like getting the beginning taste of it. But yeah, it's issue 2 is going to be fun. Issue 3 is where, like, in my opinion, the shit really starts hitting the fan. But it's going to be a fun ride that just kind of ramps up. So
Nice. But
Yeah.
so it's going to keep like it is going to keep going. Like we're going to
Oh, yeah,
get
yeah.
more of it. Awesome. Because I'm really excited about it. It's that was really cool. And yeah, that the fucking art. Oh my God. Like,
Yeah.
wow. Like
Sun is amazing.
it's insane. Like it's not like, hold on. I'm gonna pop it up. I know this isn't the Kickstarter campaign that we're here to talk about, but just like, yeah, all right. So Ormus is the title. This is what the art looks like. Basically, this fucking promo image, like nothing. Oh wait,
That's you're on the
yeah.
updates.
Oh no. Oh
But I'll just mention, like, Sun, who does the interior art, she's normally a cover artist. So she works for like DC Comics and Dynamite
Yeah.
and Zenoscope and Coffin Comics. So this is like her
but
first
she
time doing
does look
interior.
look at that. It's so good. It's so beautiful. Like it's insane.
Yeah. She's amazing.
Like oh my God, wow. And it pays off. Like, and we had to say, if you want some titty variants, we got some titty variants. Actually you don't now. If you go to the website, everything's sold out. But yeah, this was such a good premiere issue. I was really shocked. Yeah, there's not tons of there's not a ton of interior art to view here, but like honestly, like this is the level of interior art that you get in every panel. It's kind of not fair. Like like every other comic probably wants to be sad about it, but anyways, but no, I'm excited. I forgot I wanted to ask you about that earlier, because this was really great. I love your horror. I love everything about Witch Creek Road, and this was a really fun. This was fun to kind of fall into. Like I learned your name from Witch Creek Road and saw this pop up, and I was really excited to dive in. But yeah, anyway, like this is what every panel looks like. It's absolutely fucking gorgeous. So yeah, I'm really stoked. You're gonna keep doing that. All right. So as I've mentioned before, the polite podcast host that I am, and the long-winded host that I am, David Hazan is still here. Fucking Mad Cave Rockstar is still listening. Hold my beer. I'll keep talking forever. No, but both of you, like for real, you both impress the absolute shit out of me, and you're just good people and fun to talk to. Mick, remind us, where do we find you?
I'm at Comicer on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and I currently have Royo Cheeks on Kickstarter.
And she's
And that's
got
it.
some nice cheeks, baby. They clap. No, I'm sorry. All right, but but no, it's I loved issue 1, and I really can't wait for issue 2. So like everybody, please back it. Give him tons.
I mean,
of
I
money.
need to come back on the show at some point, so issue 2 will.
Yeah, like we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. You're basically a co-host at this point. Garth, I was like, thank you for tolerating me and coming on the show tonight. Like, I really appreciate you. I love horror. I love the genre. I love everything. I love everything it does. It you know, like you have to tie yourself into the realness of the world we live every day while shocking us simultaneously with these like extra elements and keeping us on our toes, which you do in every panel and every page of Witch Creek Road and the oh my god, I can't. I'm getting tongue tied and skinned
the spin-off of Witch Creek Road.
The spin, yes, the skinned off the spin-off. But no, it's the black and white art, the usage of color, and how it makes us uncomfortable, and just how you're kind of fearless in the topics you deal with. That's sadly, you know, if people want to talk shit about it, you know, these are topics that we deal with growing up and living in the world today. You know, like the usage of like, you know, sex and you know, like domination and stuff, and you take a whole new spin on that. I just think you're fucking cool, Garth. Can I just say, like, can I just remind you that I think you're a fucking rad storyteller, and I'm excited for everything you got going on. Tell us where to keep track of you, where to keep track of anything cool you got going on, bud.
So I'm horrible with social media, but Instagram is probably where I'm most active. You can follow Witch Creek Road on Facebook. Just probably Witch Creek Road. Search for it; it'll come up. But yeah, Instagram's probably the best one.
Nice. I followed you on Instagram after you said that, so that I can make sure to be able to communicate with you, because I like I said, I mean, no, we got this set up fine, but it was just weird to have to like communicate you via Kickstarter Messenger.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a new one. But no, man, I like for real, Garth, you're great to have on a show. You're a really great talent, and I can't get enough of you. Like I just want more of your storytelling, whether it's sci-fi, whether it's horror, whether it's whatever. I think you're awesome, and you should be a lot more cocky. You should really be like, listen up, motherfuckers. My name's Garth, and I tell great horror stories. That's just how I feel, man. Guys, both of you, Mick and Garth, I think you're both great storytellers. I think you're both great people. You're super fun to talk to. You're welcome on Blake's Buzz anytime, anything I can ever do for you. I don't know what that would be, but I'm here for it. Like, please come back anytime. And again, like, thank you for spending your Wednesday night with me. I wish you both great luck on your ongoing campaigns. I have no doubt that you're both going to be funded, and that your backers are going to be wildly happy with the end products they get. I no doubts in my mind whatsoever. Anything else you guys want to shout out before we end it?
I'm just gonna say, like, I backed Mick's Kickstarter because I'm not familiar with you, Mick, but I looked at your.
I'm not either. Who is this guy? Where did he come from?
No. And I hate you immediately for your talent. Like, I wish I could draw and write and do like the full package. So like,
right?
I'm super jealous.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I'm not yet committed to backing yours, though I'm strongly considering it. But like,
it's all good.
Go fuck yourself.
Like,
get off my show. You back
Is
that
this
campaign.
Gonna scare me? Like, I'm only halfway
shit out of you.
I'm only halfway through this first update on Witch Creek Road on Webtoons on this monitor. I'm like, I don't know if I can handle this. This looks terrifying.
It's not for everyone.
It's fucking creepy. I love it. Real quick, I was going to do this in the middle of the show, but I forgot now that like no one's listening. That's great. This Saturday, I'm doing a very special live interview. Who would have thought I would do something live online? Let's drop this real quick. Blake's Buzz, a special evening with Jared Lujan this Saturday at 8 p.m. I'm so stoked to talk to Jared. He has fought an uphill battle for his new comic Crash and Troy. It is out right now. He's got a fucking new Kickstarter that is amazing and well worth your time. We're going to be talking about that this Saturday. I'm going to promo the fuck out of that all week. I'm going to remind you guys. And guys, unless if that's it, I'm going to play the outro unless you guys stop me and want to do something else.
No, I just, I'm backing Garth right now. It's worth,
Dude, thank God.
Spending the night with the lights on.
At least, finally we did it. That's the only thing I want. I just wanted Mick to read Witch Creek Road. That's all I wanted. Guys, both of you are awesome. I appreciate you. You're both super talented. I don't know why you gave me the time that you did, but I'm so appreciative of it. Everybody, if you are still listening or if you listen to this later, everybody I had on tonight is worth your fucking money. Back their fucking comics. Back it twice. Get a variant. Buy a copy for a friend. If you're broke, buy the fucking digital copy. You can read it on a tablet. I just bought a new tablet. I don't know if everybody heard about that.
A new tablet to read it.
Yeah,
I've heard that happens to
just
people.
do it. Just do it. Just do it. Just give these guys a couple bucks and listen to the comics that speak to you. I mean, read them. But anyways, both you guys are awesome. I wish you all the best of luck. And now we're gonna do this. Thank you everybody for listening in the chat. Thank you for tuning in. My guests always appreciate you. You're all fucking awesome. I wish I could make comics as cool as you do. Maybe one day, who knows? What? Welcome to Blake's Buzz. We'll be back again later. It's Blake's Buzz Live.